Phoenix Down Radio is on the air. With your hosts,
Klaus Nightbringer,
Fair Kimono,
Chili,
and Luna Vox.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 63. How's everybody doing tonight?
Chili.
You're what now? Sorry, I was too slow to unmute.
Not too bad.
Well, that's good to hear.
I finally got all the baking soda off my hands.
Oh, that's right. You were working with the kids and the rockets and the stuff like that today, right?
Yep, super basic fizzy pop rocket.
Woo!
We sent one of them like a story and a half up. It was pretty great.
Pretty cool. Nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we are short one Luna tonight, but we do have special guests joining us from the She Heals I Tank podcast. We've got Vegan Pete and Avi Ale. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Smart ass. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We're having a great day so far. We've played Final Fantasy XIV a lot today and can't wait to talk about the MSQ with you.
Awesome.
Nice.
Trying to get
I
all...
might have just done it today.
Well, it's fresh in your mind then, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yes.
So why don't you, for those of our listeners who may not be familiar with you guys, why don't you tell us a bit about your podcast?
So we're called She Heals I Tank, and we call ourselves the Shit Podcast because that's the acronym it makes.
And we're the shit.
And the quality can vary between shit and a lot of shit and really shitty. But we have a fun time when we do it.
We are a married couple who both play. We banter a lot. We have fun with it. We don't take anything too seriously. And yeah, I think it's good times.
And I think we're beginner friendly as well, too.
Yes, our most popular segment is the Greenleaf Minute, which we try to help newer players or even experienced players kind of figure out little elements of the game that help you understand how to play better. And there might be things that you never thought to ask or were felt too embarrassed to ask. And so we kind of help let you know each week one new tidbit.
And that's called a what?
Greenleaf Minute.
Thank you.
I have to ask, have you timed it? Is it actually a minute in length?
Oh, it varies. Varies greatly.
I don't
It's
think
you-
we've actually ever had one only a minute.
I think we have.
I wish we could.
But yeah, not. One time Pete asked me to do a write-up on the different healers, and I think it was a Greenleaf 20 minutes.
Yeah. I call
Yeah, that was hilarious. It was
Quarter bell.
exactly.
Greenleaf, halftime show.
Yeah, we wanted to have you guys on the show when we were at FanFest, but we couldn't find you. So we're hoping that for the upcoming FanFest, we'll be able to rectify that
Yeah, I hope so.
and
We'll
have
be a little
everybody
more
on.
conscious of what's happening, I think, this coming time.
Yeah,
I can't promise that.
I don't know how I was conscious at that point, but I was for about an hour, and then I passed out. So
Oh, it was all very overwhelming. It was my first time ever going to something like that, and felt like baby podcasters.
of that size, definitely. But it was like I said, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to FanFest this year.
Yeah, I've been to events of that size before, but traveling to a different country and going to the event was the scary part for me.
With all those
Kelly, man.
big, scary Americans.
Yeah, you're all very tall and scary.
Oh, tall, yes. I don't think I'm that scary, am I?
Yeah,
No,
but you're tall. That makes you scary. It's not.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
this is
intimidating to shorter people.
why I wear the story time hat. You got to make yourself less intimidating.
Bigger
Hey,
peoples.
I had the
Bigger
big
boys.
hat with the feather. Wasn't that less intimidating?
That is not a good story time hat.
But it's a good hat.
The
Anyway, let's continue. on.
grammar, it's a thing.
Again, thank you so much for joining us.
We appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
And I want to thank all of our new and resubbed Twitch subscribers from the last episode. We have Ilac, somebody named Avienda Ale. I wonder who that could be.
I don't know.
What a weird idea.
Plebeian Goth, Aurori, and Fair Eyes. Thank you guys so much for your support here on Twitch. We really do appreciate it.
Anytime.
You can actually say that. So we'll jump into a little bit of gaming community news. shortly after our last episode, there was this big old kerfuffle on the subreddit. They were talking about, I don't know if you're familiar with the FC Entropy. They are on Ragnarok, and they are a world first progression free company. Well, shortly after the whole housing thing went through, one of the wards on Ragnarok basically ended up having all their houses as these support FCs for Entropy, and they all had the same tag, and everyone was all like up in arms because the FC leader of Entropy decided to tweet that out and say, hey, look, we're running this place, and then just a whole shitstorm went after that.
It felt so unnecessary because my understanding was they had owned most of those houses beforehand and they just did relocation.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
So,
just how
like,
the guy
there
came
was no
about
need
off
to
of it.
spin it out so much.
Yeah,
I think it was mainly the way they. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Oh no.
Because
I
it's
thought
the
they
main.
were. Go ahead, Silly.
I think it's mainly the way they advertise themselves that caused the issue. It's not the fact that the fact that they did it was a pain for some people, but the way that they sort of promoted how they did it, how they got around the rules by relocation, that's what angered some folk.
I also heard, besides the relocation, they were actually having people leave the FC, create their own FC, rank it up to level 6 or whatever they needed, and then they would buy the house with that new FC with the same tag, because you can have multiple FCs with the same tag.
Yep.
That's what I'd heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
what
like I said. It wasn't one FC. Most of these FCs were in support of the main FC that had all the raiders.
The relocation I don't have as much of a problem with, because if you relocate, yes, you took this plot, but you just opened up another one. So the supply isn't actually being lost.
Yep.
But the creating the new ones, that's a bit problematic there.
But that's not where the main issue lied. Apparently, one of the members decided to explain what was going on, and he basically said all of what we said. And for a short while, he was basically booted from the FC for trying to explain it.
People do not know how to do PR.
Yeah. But then they had a nice long talk, and apparently it's been rectified, and the leader realized that, hey, he was being a dumbass. And so things are better, but it just goes to show that things like social media can cause these.
I think a lot of people are going to be skeptical of them for a while, though.
Yeah,
hey,
you're right.
At least those houses are going to be used, though. Unlike 90% of the houses I see, they're empty. Because at least they'll be for air
shots. They had bad press before this whole FC. Like, they just kind of I don't know what it was, but one of the comments I'd seen about it was like, oh, this FC again. Like, they just fixed their rep and now they go and do this.
They had a lot of rating drama before.
Yeah, they definitely did.
They're diversifying their drama type. You have to have a healthy drama portfolio to handle swings in the market. Exactly.
They want to be world-first dramas.
Doing what they did, they exploited the system. I mean, it was, well, I wouldn't even say it exploited the system. They got around and they did what was legal. So
yeah.
A loophole.
Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't even call it a loophole. I mean, they created an FC and bought a new house because they created a new FC.
Yep. I mean, what they did was within the the realm of the game, but like I said, I think it was how everything was handled on social media. It even brought up something within the subreddit itself. I mean, they're talking about some of the different rules and how you're not supposed to witch hunt. And they want to make sure, they're even maybe saying that some of these world figures are maybe not exempt from it either.
The main thing is they don't want the place to become an unreadable cesspool of drama.
Yeah.
It's like,
but it's Reddit.
Yeah, but you can sometimes keep some little niches of Reddit nice. Like r/ask culinary is great.
Have you guys ever put on the block all the fluff option on that subreddit? And
it's very empty.
4 posts.
It's very empty. Yeah, because if you don't have Catgirl screenshots, Lalafell screenshots, and random drawings, you got nothing.
Lalafell screenshots at night.
Also, I want to. This is another case where the niche ones are really awesome, like r/FFXIV. But if you go to FFXIV Home and Garden, you get really cool house layouts, or the Glamour subreddit. Like, go more niche, and it's more okay.
Yes, you're right. The main subreddit is a little bit questionable at times. But I can imagine that with so many people on it, that it's very difficult to moderate properly.
Exactly. As soon as a community becomes large enough, nope out of it and go live in the woods. Good life advice.
All right, let's nope the fuck out of this topic and let's move on to the next one.
Reasonable.
Something that was just announced today, Final Fantasy 15 Comrades update will be coming with the version update on March 6th. And this is all kind of to coincide with the release of the Royal Edition and the PC version. So there's will be a new update for Comrades that will include a bunch of new costumes, some new bosses that'll be available to fight, a bunch of new abilities, and more. And it also looks like, according to the trailer, that you're going to be able to play as some of the other characters like Gladio, Ignis, and Prompto within multiplayer.
Oh, wow.
So you'll be able to take that selfie while you're fighting in multiplayer, guys.
Yay.
I mean, won't that be amazing?
So fun.
Is that like the Russian edition, the Comrade edition?
It's just what they call their multiplayer online version. You ever played 15, Pete?
I have played 15 for about 3 hours, and then I got sidetracked by Final Fantasy 14 again.
Gotcha.
Hard for me to play any other game except the MMO that I'm currently playing.
I still can't believe I got a platinum in 15. It's just, I only have 2 platinums on my PS4. 15 and Goat Simulator.
I do have to say that a lot of my time was spent fishing.
The fishing is pretty good in that game. I enjoy a game with good fishing. You might like the if you have a PlayStation VR, you might like Monsters of the Deep then, Pete. It's all fishing.
Haven't done the VR yet.
I need to get that still. I have VR, but I just don't have that game.
All right. And then Sayre wanted to put in his gotcha roundup for all of the mobile Final Fantasy games.
Not all of them. I gave up on Brave Exvius a while ago.
I think a lot of people did. But if you want to go ahead and go through that.
All right. So yeah, just a quick touch up on what's going there. For Record Keeper, they're just finishing up their Final Fantasy XIV Dragon Song War event. That one featured the introduction of Haurchefant, Estinian, and Ysayle. I saved so much Mithril for that, and I almost have Husbando Haurchefant. He will protect everything. It's great. They've just started the Final Fantasy Tactics Alma-centered event. That's one that players have been waiting for a while. Thunder God Sid's Absurdly Broken, Ultra Soul Break, and Legend Dive have been introduced in that one. We also got a pleasantly surprising announcement. Usually Global has about a 5-month lead time about events because we know what's coming up in Japan. But both Japan and Global will be simultaneously getting a special Kingdom Hearts crossover event.
And one thing
that's something
to add
people
to that,
are really hyped up about.
There is currently a mobile browser game where you can fly a gummy ship and get points, which all these points that you accrue add up to getting these awesome items that will be available when this event drops within
and
Record Keeper.
Yep, and that is a collaborative among the community, so you do not have to get all the points to get the awards for yourself. You can just add in, and as long as the community scores enough points, we're good.
Have you tried it yet, Sarah?
I haven't. This has been a really busy week for me.
It's pretty easy. The link to it is within the game. You just click on it, it'll bring you to a mobile browser, and then you just slide your finger across the screen, and it's like a vertical shoot 'em up. And
that actually sounds kind of fun.
It is. I think you would enjoy it. And if other people are playing Record Keeper or just want a fun little vertical shmup, give it a try. Like I said, it's all available on the Record Keeper site.
I think everyone's getting super hyped about Kingdom Hearts 3 at this point, so...
Or something.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like one of those games we've been waiting for 10 years, like when we were waiting for 15.
Yeah, I gave up on trying to follow it ages ago.
Yeah, I mean, I love Kingdom Hearts, don't get me wrong. I just don't have that much of a, excitement for it anymore because it's just been so convoluted since the whole 2.8 and the 364/12 or whatever the hell they call that one.
365
the first one was great, and the rest have been meh.
Just remember, if anyone has an X in their name, take it out and anagram it and see if you get something else.
It's just bad for everyone and everything.
All right. How about Mobius?
So Mobius is just opened up the final area in their Fatal Calling FF7 collaboration. They also have a special limited time card summon featuring cards based on the weapons from Final Fantasy VII. Emerald weapon, Ruby weapon. No, wait, Ruby was in the last set. But they're rather good, rather well regarded by the players, so there's a lot of excitement for that. They've also just released the new Legend job for Maya, Midgar Flower Girl.
Gee, I wonder who that could be.
So yeah, if you want to do a little bit of Aerith cosplay, do some planet protection, they've got you covered for that. And they'll be starting a special battle tower event against Sephiroth, I believe, next week.
Yeah, I'm just finishing up on Nibelheim right now, so I'll be jumping into the new area.
Northern crater. I'm delving into the northern crater at this point, but lots of fun there. And then Opera Omnia, which of course has just recently launched. They don't have quite as much going, but we do have the Squall event ending in the next 24 hours, or less than that at this point,
yes.
I think. So if you still have any last stuff to get from there, now's the time. They've also started, the Vanille event is in full swing, and they do have the Ifrit event having just recently started. That one is a really excellent opportunity to get Ifrit leveled up, have a very powerful summon that will give you a big attack power boost. Mine is almost level 20 because I have problems.
Yes.
I also want to note, for those of you who haven't been using Vanille as much, her debuffing skills, both her Deprotect, which lowers the defense power, and her Dispel, which will strip enemy buffs, can be really, really handy against a lot of foes.
Yep, and she's proven very popular among the friends lists as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you get extra gil if people use your shared person. So
speaking of which, one thing I've seen a lot of people assume that if they're sharing a particular person, that it will automatically update when they level them up, give them new skills. You do actually need to go to the support thing, reselect them, choose the new abilities for them to have, for that to be updated for your friends list. I have seen people who have like a level 50 Squall up with pretty much no passive abilities.
Whoops.
So do make sure to update that so that other people are getting all those benefits and they're going to keep summoning you.
All right. Thank you for that, Sarah. Nice quick little update on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now
it's what I'm doing with my life, apparently.
Now I know Pete and Navi, you guys talked quite a bit about the Q&A from the last producer live letter. And I listened to that episode, and I'm not sure there's not a lot that we really need to go over from that. Is Chili, Sarah, is there anything you guys really want to discuss from the producer live letter that we haven't maybe already heard somewhere else?
Not really, because if you want to hear Fred, I'd recommend go and listen to She Heals, I Tank.
Nice plug there, Chili.
The only thing I was really interested in was any sort of new Eureka stuff that we were getting, and in some of the gameplay. I felt a little bit better about it because I was afraid having to reallocate elemental points was going to be tedious and annoying. Since they showed us the elemental wheel that we can just spin to reallocate the points, that makes it a lot more seamless, and that, took away my fears of that. And I think it looks like a cool place. You see the elemental symbol on the mob, so you know what to switch to. Mm-hmm. It looked pretty neat. I just don't know if it's going to... The gameplay itself has to be interesting, since we're forced to go there for our relic weapon and our new relic armor. It needs to be fun, or else people are just going to hate it because we have to go there to get that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little concerned about how many mechanics are they borrowing from FF11? Did they remember what people disliked about that? And so I was also worried about how much grind is this going to involve, and the reallocation. So I was also really glad to see, they are actually streamlining that bit.
But yeah, I was just going to say, how many people were reminded of FF11 when they announced all this stuff?
I didn't play it, so not me.
Trade to Zone!
Right? It was like, Gabi trained to Selbina. God.
Crawler's Nest is shut down for the next hour, and everyone loves the random Beastmaster who shows up and clears it all out. Not enough to let them in their party, but...
And I did think it was interesting that we're going to be able to have 144 people in there.
Oh yeah,
so
that'd be a nice size zone.
From Diadem. If we're able to go in there and then our buddy logs in half an hour later and they're able to meet up with us, that's going to be a big thing, I think.
Did they ever say what the time limit was for the zone?
3 hours, I think it was.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
As long as we have some way for our friends to get to us, that's a big part for me.
Well, I mean, they said it was going to be similar to when they've had at launch the kind of instance areas where there was a way to like if you're in a party, you could make sure that you go to the area where your friends are. The impression I always got was that it's not necessarily a hard cap, like once 144 are in, everyone is shut out, but more you cannot get in unless you already have someone who's in there bringing you in. That's the impression I had anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's...
And once you got kicked out, you can go right back in as well. There's no limit on that.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, Diadem at the beginning was a little bit of a pain to access, so I think they've learned their lesson from that, and this should be a lot easier to get to.
On the Diadem note, I want to share a little thing I learned this week. If you have yet to do your fashion report, don't go and buy the Sky Pirate pants. You can actually use 5 of your brass spoils from Diadem left over and get those pants.
If you have any.
If you have any left over, because you don't know what else to do with them.
Yeah, though for this week, those aren't the pants, though.
Well, they're not the 100 pants, but if you're just trying for a decent score.
They're the 100 pants if you are a samurai dyed metallic blue.
Oh.
I thought it was the kudzu pants were the 100 dyed
I saw the
metallic
samurai
blue.
pants.
It might be that there's a couple different ones that work.
That's possible, yeah, because I was going through the thread that they had on the subreddit, and they listed kudzu pants of maiming.
Oh, all right.
Dyed metallic blue.
One. Yeah, I saw one that was kudzu pants of striking. It does.
Yeah,
seem
that's
like
what I meant. Striking. Sorry.
Yeah. It does seem like kudzu is or metallic blue is the common thread there, though.
Yep.
Yes.
But yeah, I got lucky this week. I was able to get 85 with basically what I'm wearing right now. I'm just happy that it's the Cyan Adventurer's coat. It's like my staple glamour for I don't know how long since we've had it, basically.
Now, are you guys enjoying doing that, or are you just doing it for the MGP?
A little bit of both.
It's kind of fun.
Because I can see
MGP.
people are liking this, but for me, I would only do it for the MGP, and I still haven't done it yet.
Well, I figured you'd also be doing it for the Gil, Pete. I mean,
how much gil do you get from it?
Not well, depending on how much you can sell the items to other people for.
Yeah, I saw people last week hawking all general purpose dark green dye for like 400k a pop.
Mm-hmm.
I did notice that some of my dye had started to sell.
I tried to tell him what to make. I was like, "Oh, you should make the faux strikers tabard and blah blah." And he's like, effort."
I mean, when you don't care about glamour, there's really no reason for a gil. Like, I have all this gil. What am I going to buy with it?
Give it to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, give it to the wife. Happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
But it's more fun not to give it to her.
Is this like a tantrum?
That's the only joy I get of all the gil I have.
Just lording it over her?
Throwing it in her face that I have another million MGP.
Spike gil?
I've never even had a million MGP.
This is my 3rd million. I guess I'll have to buy that cloud card.
Yes, do it. Join us.
How do you make so much MGP?
Yeah. But
you do mini cacpot.
Yeah, mini cacpot every day. And then your Verminion.
He always does the gates.
Gates are a good one. Doing your Verminion every week. Chocobo racing. Doing
Verminion every week, just enter a battle, walk away, lose, come back, do that 3 times.
Well, see, I can be done with it by the time you're done losing your first one, though.
I don't know. It only takes about 3 minutes, I think. I timed it.
To lose?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
On the Mine Your Minions one.
Okay. I suppose if you go on a hard one, yeah. I went in about 3 minutes doing the 3rd option. Can't remember what it's called. Anyway, one thing that I didn't actually put in the notes that was announced recently is there will be a maintenance on Monday because we are getting personal housing back, guys.
Can you give us a little tune for the Monday maintenance?
We've got it out on the website.
On the live version.
Acapella.
No, not happening tonight. Sorry. But so we're gonna have a short maintenance. I believe it starts at 11 PST and goes till about 2 a.m. If I read the notes correctly.
So all you looking for personal housing will have to get up at the ass crack of Tuesday.
Yep. Whenever the normal reset
Usually
would be.
like 2 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah. 2 a.m. is the usual for that.
So
I'm going to make sure I can be up so I can get a Balmung character.
that too. They did also announce they are updating the world restrictions and
they are temporarily lifting all the world restrictions, I think.
Yep. So you might be able to get out on Greg or Balmung or some of the other highly populated servers.
Also, new preferred worlds, which apparently have fairly insane gain.
Yeah, Chili was saying he went nuts getting a character to level 30.
Yeah, I was leveling up a character to 30 to get the 15 days, and I fought the Million Guild. But I found out the Million Guild is only for new worlds, not preferred servers, which kind of sucks.
But you got the 15 days, right?
Yeah, I got my 15 days, but it took me about 6 hours, I'd say, and I did no side missions. I did the occasional fate when you're walking past it doing the missions. The only side quests I did were to unlock my unlock my challenge log and to unlock guild heists. So I did one leave, of course, because you have to do that one leave quest. And by the time I got to Copperbell Mines, I was already 29.5.
Wow.
Well, 28.5. So by the time I beat Copperbell Mines, I was already level 30.
Nice.
That's with no side quest, no nothing. And the only XP boost I had was the ring, from the novice.
The new ring?
Stuff.
Brand new ring
Yeah.
or something like that?
Yeah. I was getting plus 330% XP in Satasha.
Wow.
I was getting like 2,000 to 3,000 to kill.
It doesn't seem like a lot, but you didn't need a lot back then either.
No. You only need 60,000 XP, getting 2,000 every time you kill one trash mob.
Yeah, and
It does go crazy fast now.
Yeah.
Like, even before the preferred world bonus, just when they upped it, like at the beginning of Stormblood or Heaven's Ward, I think they even upped it during Heaven's Ward. I got to level 50 really quickly, and it was just the having to run all the 50 quests that I was like, oh my god, there's so many quests. You're going from like 2.1 to 2.5, all of those quests. That took a long time. The XP was not the problem.
Moogle Quest says he'll do a guild house with you, Chili. You'll get together and do a raid, the Lust FC for Catgirl panties.
That is the best guild heist. I will accept that one.
I don't know. Catgirl panties might smell kind of bad. Have you ever smelled the cats going into the cat box?
Can't say that I have.
Smelled a cat going into the cat box?
Oh.
What, do you wait by the litter box for them to go into it? Like, how do
I will
smelled
spare
them
you.
as they're doing their business. And
So wait, you bend down and put your face next to the cat
and
as they're doing their business?
some girls, when they laugh a lot, a little bit comes out. So you want to
God.
smell those panties? I don't. Especially if they're from a cat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my.
Cat's urine smells way worse than the female
I don't want to smell a cat boy's panties either.
All right. So moving on.
From cat urine?
Yes.
Why?
Because there's.
Oh, that's what I do podcasts about.
It glows under a black light.
So do a lot of
more
other
you know.
things that we're not going to
I
discuss.
don't know what equivalence you're making here, and I choose not to understand it.
But at this point, I'm going to throw out that spoiler warning, guys. From this moment on, we are going to be talking about 4.2 spoilers. So if you have not yet finished them or do not want to be spoiled on it, mute us. Don't leave. I'm seeing this one from you, Pete. And but mute up or fast forward if you're listening on the podcast. Probably about an hour and a half, I would suppose. But we are going to talk all about that goodness that we got with patch 4.2.
Are we doing everything 4.2 or just the MSQ?
We've got MSQ, we've got the Four Lords, and we've got Omega. We'll see where we're at.
Okay, I didn't want to talk about raid or anything if we weren't supposed to talk about that.
No, I've got them all listed out there if you guys want to jump into the notes. I spent way too long today writing these out, and Sarah's been spending all of the show rewriting them. So
Yeah, you wrote a report.
yeah, it was like 4 pages.
Yeah, it's a report.
Go read it.
And now they're 8 because Sarah got to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's-
Hey! I trimmed in some places.
and expanded more in others.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So as we jump into patch 4.2, we start with talking with Lise. She's kind of giving us the rundown on the current state of affairs in Alamigo. Then we get a visit from Alphino and Alice with an urgent message from Tadaru that we have to go talk to Hancock in Kugane. So, of course, we make that trek over to the Far East, and we learn that there have been two individuals very closely resembling one Gosetsu and Yotsuyu seen within Kugane. And we're all like, what? We really can't believe it, but we have to investigate this. It doesn't hurt that that there's a sizable Garlean force that's coming into the area as well to search for the former viceroy. And so yeah, we need to find them first, if they are indeed out there. At this point, Hancock tells us that he's hired the best of the best to help us out and to go meet them in a back alley. That best of the best is that goddamned catfish.
Oh my god, I love how much we got to threaten him with the boots.
Oh, that was hilarious.
I was like, I hate this.
Das Boot.
Yeah.
I love the catfish.
I hate the catfish.
You know,
I
with
wanted
a
to
side
say-
of chips and some malt vinegar.
Is it weird that I wanted to hug him and take him home?
Yes.
A little bit.
Oh.
The other ones from the other side quests, I would understand. This bastard, no way.
Like,
Hopefully
I wanna-
our next beast tribe.
I want to punch him and take him home for further punching.
If that is the next beast tribe, I might actually
you
unlock a
don't.
beast tribe.
I think it will be actually, but we can talk about that
Yay.
later. I want to say that they did confirm that the next beast tribe is going to be crafting and gathering.
Yeah.
Yes, I did hear that too.
All right.
Best news ever.
So
I haven't done my Google quest.
you better get on those, Avi.
Be funny.
It's money.
That's what Pete's for.
If you want that gil, because Pete's not giving it to you.
I'm actually doing pretty well
Hey,
on mine.
I
on
give it
here.
to her pretty good, okay?
Just not gil.
It's not Gil. Yes.
So anyway, that double-crossing, boot-fearing catfish Gyodo tells us that that somebody resembling Gosetsu was seen selling their prized sword to one of the pawnbrokers out on the streets out there. Can't remember the name of those streets. Sarah, you remember? No.
Wait, which one?
The streets where all the merchants
The
are.
market.
Yeah.
Near where the summoning bell is.
Can't remember the name of the street.
Oh, Kugane Dori?
Something like that.
What? That was Karidori. Is it Kugane Dori? I don't know. Karidori, something like that.
Kogane Dori.
Okay.
Not Kugane, Kogane Dori.
Okay, yeah, because it was a little different.
Yeah.
So after searching through all the pawn shops, we eventually find the one where Gosetsu sold the blade, and Yugiri is able to verify that this is indeed his sword. And Alphino,
He's got such a big heart.
yes,
He did not check with the wife.
he just buys that sword, and is like, yeah, we'll give this back to him. It can't be so bad, can it? So he bought it.
It's a gift for your beloved friend. You're gonna they had to sell his sword. You're gonna buy it back and give it to him. Isn't that like the sweetest thing?
And hell, we even offered to help pay for it. He's like, no, the Scions will take care of this.
No, Alphino just comes in here with his wad of cash going, yeah, boy!
But it's not his cash. He didn't check with his work wife.
Now this
You gotta check with your work wife.
Yeah, this was paid for
Right.
with Scion funds.
He's like stood there throwing gill at him, going, yeah, boy!
And
Make it rain.
we
Just
learned that
another reason I hate Alphino.
he just doesn't.
Yeah, I hate him so much as well, Pete. He annoys me.
So we learned that they've headed towards the Ruby Sea, as they were probably going to be heading towards Yangsha. So we head to the Ruby Sea as well to try and catch up with them. We arrive and we find a large contingent of Garlean airships over Sakazuki. And we join our allies in the Confederacy to try and repel this invading force. As we fight through them, we discover and find Gosetsu and Yotsuyu are indeed there, and they are fending off Garlean soldiers trying to take them back.
Well, Gosetsu's doing the fending. Yotsuyu's just looking really, really scared.
Yeah.
I believe that's just Suyu. I don't know
yes.
who Yotsuyu is.
I don't know who Yatsuyu is either, Pete. No one does but you.
Okay.
Yo, Suyu!
Okay, Tsuyu, as she is called now, I guess.
We don't know the same person.
I will note, Klaus, you spelled her name like 3 different ways throughout these notes.
Good.
And he'll pronounce it 3 different ways during the
It's
show.
like me
Yes.
with Pete's notes. Like, oh, that's what you meant to say there. Did not
Yes.
read that at all.
So we join up with Gosetsu, and we fend off a whole bunch of Magitech and a whole bunch of Garlean soldiers in a really fun single-player instance. I enjoyed it. They've been really good at...
It took a long time.
It was
Yeah,
a more
forever.
involved scene, but like I said, I did enjoy it. I even did it on Red Mage, and I didn't die, amazingly.
I don't even
Like-
remember it, honestly. I remember doing it, but I don't remember. I guess it was nothing for me. Like, I didn't find that one fun. Killed him. And I literally just did it this week. I'm like, I remember killing him. I don't remember it being fun.
I don't even remember what I killed.
Yeah.
Garleans.
But they're
Well,
robot-y things.
Soldiers or was it mechs? I can't remember.
I mean,
Bit of both.
there were actually some mechanics that you could do to make it easier. So
Oh, what were those?
Was it punching them harder? Because I did that
well,
mechanic.
don't
that's
remember.
all you do, Chili. That is your only mechanic, is punch it harder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That is how Chili does
Works.
things.
That's Pete, too. That's
That's
why you
how
guys get
monks
along.
got a monk.
Punched it so good.
I mean, if the enemy's putting a circle down, that just means I'm not punching hard enough.
All right. Well, after the battle, we talk with Gosetsu, and he tells us their harrowing tale of how they survived the collapse of Doma Castle, and then how Yotsuyu ended up losing her memories, apparently, and
Becoming Suyu.
became just goes by Tsuyu now.
Everyone's still pretty suspicious of her at this point.
But reasonably so. You know, you were
Yeah.
you can't quite trust anybody at this point, can you?
Like, bitches cray. I don't know.
Yeah, we learned that lesson in Ul'dah.
Yes.
I did think it was really funny that they're like trying to sneak around and everything, but instead of giving her like a completely different name, he just called her Suyu. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty close to her real name. Not gonna go with like Jane.
Well, I feel like that might even be a hint that there's part of her still there. You know, she still has part of her name. There's still part of her still in there. She's not a completely different person yet.
I'm guessing that's what he decided to call her.
Yeah, so he said he gave her the nickname.
Yeah, but
It's like kind of it's kind of a cutesy form of her name.
yeah,
I know, but they're all looking for them. He should be like, "You're Jane Doe now."
because that's really incognito as well.
Juliet.
You know, whatever the Doma equivalent of Jane Doe is.
See, what we
maybe
actually
it is
haven't said
Suyu.
is that she regressed to childhood. That's the biggest thing.
Watanabe.
She wants her sweets all the time, and she's like, "Oh no, don't let them hurt me!" Like super annoying, helpless
And
little girl.
basically calling her. I don't know if he does it the same in the English version, but in the Japanese, she basically calls him Grandpa. So it's almost like they have a granddaughter-grandfather type of relationship at that point.
Yeah, it definitely seemed less like you are romantic, and more like you are a child that I am taking care of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. So they decide to continue over to Yangsha and talk with Hien to see what he thinks they should do.
Hottie with a body. I mean, what?
Well, we learn about that a little bit later on too. Sarah, you want to tell us about the next set of quests?
All right.
Spread it out a little bit.
So, sure. So of course, as we get ready to leave the Ruby Sea, we find out that Alphino's impetuous purchase of Gosetsu's sword has some consequences.
Some consequences?
His complete failure to negotiate or even check the price has done a number on the Scion's finances. We are told that it is a very treasured ancient blade, that the cost would be enough to purchase and fully furnish a large house. Kind of a fun little thing there, what with all the housing talk going on and everyone being concerned about that, to know that, hey, this millions and millions of gil, that all went to that sword that you didn't even ask what the price was.
So I said you got to check with your work wife. Don't go buying stuff without getting permission first.
See, Alphino, he needs to do what I do. I put all my gil on my retainer. So even if I see something I want to buy, I have to walk all the way to my retainer, by the time I walk all the way, I think, do I really want that?
Well, I mean, I don't think he ever got out the guild. It was the type of thing where like they made the agreement and there's notes of credit and stuff like that.
So
and
he said he's paid on his credit card.
Yeah.
Effectively, yeah. For stuff like this, that's how it would often be
Hey,
handled.
Arzine Express, don't leave home without it.
When you
Which,
have
I mean-
that much gil.
It was kind of amusing to see, like, oh, hey, here's this person who's so knowledgeable in politics and so dysfunctional in basic ways of the world works.
Oh, maybe he's like Trump. He's just not going to pay his debt.
No, he seemed to actually feel bad about it.
Well, it seems like he's like a rich little kid who never had to think about money because it was never a question. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
So Soroban does tell us that he has a lucrative business proposition, which will end up becoming a story arc that will follow a little bit later on. And Alphino, withering under Tataru's glare, does encourage us to take him up on that.
I just want to add, didn't we find a hell of a lot of riches recently? I'm sure we found a lot more than 100 million gil in that giant cave of money.
Yeah.
We gave it to Alamigo for their rebuilding.
That's right.
Aw, we should have kept some.
Yeah, where's that
Finder's
10% finder's fee, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
So that is a side arc which you can take care of at any point. You can engage in that at that point, or you can come back to it a bit later on, which was what I did. I was like, I'm not going to go gallivanting off on this when I've got Yotsuyu in tow. We've got shit to do. But we do arrive at the House of the Fierce with Gosetsu and Yotsuyu. Hien having decided that it would not be a good idea to bring Yotsuyu too deep into Doma. We have a touching reunion between Samurai and Master, and Yotsuyu is given over to the care of Jifuya, one of Hien's trusted commanders. Or at least that's the plan they have until Jifuya is reported missing. We end up having to go out to search for him and find him having fled the House of the Fierce. He had a key role in forcing Yotsuyu to become a courtesan and her eventual defection to become an imperial informant and later the viceroy. Some chilling descriptions of the cold emptiness in her eyes, how a lot of his clients seemed to relish it seemed to demand it, and the odd contrast there, and not realizing just how much damage he had done and how great her wrath and vengeance would be.
Step on me, please.
I actually really loved that they brought this story point back because I had a feeling it was going to be a point to her character because just being a female character where it would have kind of been mentioned, oh yeah, she was a courtesan, she had a really crappy life, and then they just kind of move on and she's a bad person now. Like it's kind of just part of her and they never really visit it again. I liked that they revisited it, and that showed this guy's guilt for his part of it, but also his acknowledging that he was mostly afraid for himself than really bad for what he did to her because he's a work.
He spoke specifically about joining the Doman Resistance because he was afraid of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he like tried to tell himself it was to help, but it was really to protect himself.
Yep. So as that matter gets resolved, Jifuya gets reassigned to a different station, and someone else will be dispatched to take care of Yotsuyu. We come back to the House of the Fierce to find that an Imperial airship has been sighted approaching Castrum Fluminus, and the ship is using traditional dome and smoke signals to indicate that they want to parley to negotiate peace. Hien warily agrees to meet, and we are introduced to Asahi Sas Brutus, the ambassador plenipotentiary of Garlemald, and Yotsuyu's stepbrother. We travel with him to the Doman Enclave, which, as we've seen over the various patches, has continued to make great strides in its rebuilding. Even has an Aetherite now, which is a very welcome change. And in a meeting with Hien and various Doman representatives, Asahi shares his vision of Doma and the Empire as allies working together to face the primal threat. He tells us of internal political strife in Garlemald, with the government having been split into two factions. What was it? Optimates and what was the other one? It was modeled after actual stuff that happened.
It was like Populares or something.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a populist movement.
Yep. the popularities of which he is a part, which is kind of a more populist, wanting to pursue more peaceful methods, stop this war, work with other nations, and the optimates who want to dominate through military might.
Mm-hmm.
And Asahi further proposes that we establish bonds of goodwill and in the process support for his faction through a prisoner exchange, taking extra care to note that Yotsuyu would, of course, be included in this trade. Not even bothering to pretend with the little dance that, oh, Yotsuyu? Who's this Yotsuyu? Which I was rather refreshed with, like, okay, straight dealings. Let's get right to the point here.
Mm-hmm.
Hien is shocked and asks for time to consider the offer. Asahi gladly agrees to stay in Doma while he awaits Hien's answer.
He seemed a little, for me personally, he seemed a little too kiss-ass the whole time and a little too eager to stay in Doma.
I thought he was going to straight up swindle Hien, though.
I mean,
going too far ahead.
I wasn't too surprised by that, but I maybe know a little too. It's like, okay, no, this is how the dance of diplomacy works.
Mm-hmm.
There's some amount of honey in the words. There's some amount of, hey, we're going to say these things that hint at that. This is how the game is played.
I get that
So,
it's a game, but his game never felt genuine to me.
No, I agree.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, he wasn't portraying himself genuinely with his honey. Like, there's a way of being like, okay, this person's good at kissing ass, and there's this person who's like trying really hard.
Yeah. I guess for myself, it was like, this is within normal bounds of what I would expect a diplomat to do. Yes, they are trying to get the best position for their nation, but they can still be reasonably doing this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
so like, it didn't feel too off for me, but I follow way too much of this sort of thing.
People who are following
meant not to trust him, but
people who are following when I was streaming this, you could see that I was really not really digging what he was trying to put down. So I was always really dubious of the guy, but we went along with it, you know.
There's actually a point which I'm not really, I don't think I'm jumping ahead on the story, but there's a point where you actually get to react on kind of acknowledging, do you trust him or not? And I actually really hope that somehow Square Enix keeps track of that and to see how many people actually trusted him, because I feel like very, very few would have been like, this guy seems genuine.
For the longest time, I thought they wouldn't, but I remember in the Anima quest line, it actually changes some of the phrases based on whether you say you thought you heard a man or a woman speaking, so maybe they are actually keeping track of that.
I would love to know, and then be like, you guys failed at fooling us, is basically what they would say.
Basically.
No, I might have been alone with this, so I was like, you know what, I'm willing to give this guy a chance. Like, yeah, like he's doing this stuff that's a little bit whatever, but it's still within normal bounds, and like we can still maybe reach something that works for both of us. This is what diplomacy is all about.
And he's still within throttling distance.
Like, well, I was like, okay, I'm kind of more like Hien, where I was like, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what he brings to the table. You know, he's a diplomat, he's doing this, but I don't trust this fucker as far as I can throw him. But I get your game. Like, that was kind of where I was sitting.
Basically.
Yeah. Like, we got to use him for what he's got. Let's see what he's got.
Yep, that is also part of diplomacy.
Yes. So basically, then from this point, Alphino and Hien are going to sit and discuss the boring political stuff. We head out of the building, and we're basically asked to, at this point, walk Asahi around because he wants to see what his homeland is like now, since it's been since it's won its what words? Since basically this is what happens. Basically, since they won their independence from the Empire. So
I would say I would not, like, if I had my choice in the story, I would not have given him the tour, because I feel like this guy is on the fact-finding mission to find out everything about us. Like, you stay on your little airship. I'm not giving you a tour of everything.
Well, yeah, that's also diplomacy.
Yeah.
Everyone has spies. No one admits to having spies. No one accuses the other of having spies. You don't let your spies get caught doing this stuff, but everyone has it and everyone knows it. You just don't talk about it. This is how civilization works.
For me, it was more about his game. Like, what's his game? I didn't feel like he was getting spies or trying to see anything. I'm like, what is he trying to gain out of this? Which I didn't think spies, which when we get to this further, I like, as soon as I saw some antagonists that show up, I thought of him. I was like, you did this.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about it in just a second, Avi.
Land this.
So basically, we go on tour. We take a look at the fallen Doma Castle, and he's all like sad because he remembers looking at that as a child and how beautiful it was and all that. Starts all these beautiful words to try and lull us into a false sense of security.
Hey, that could have been genuine. I mean, like, if he grew up there, he could have fond memories.
Sense of security.
You guys are so untrusting.
He kind of actually had those feelings at one point, but now he's using those previous feelings to try to direct us a certain way.
Yes.
I mean, it's a bit of both. That's what would make him a good diplomat. Like, there's some amount of genuine feeling is important for that.
I say he is a good diplomat, but we should be smart enough to be like, you wouldn't ever let the enemy like behind your front lines to see like how you're rebuilding or anything like that.
You would if you wanted something from them. You would if you want. You're willing to give.
The offers are already on the table.
Or if you're doing it as like, for instance, if you show like, hey, the rebuilding's going well, we've got all these allies, that can be a subtle show of strength.
That's true.
It's like the fucking language of flowers here.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, Sarah.
But no, then we do encounter a scream, and we see a number of Red Kojin, attempting to ambush or attack a couple of young Doman children.
And I immediately think, oh my gosh, the Garleans were the ones paying the damn Red Kojin. Like that's immediately my thought. Like, really, you're gonna pick the Red Kojin?
They're a little far away from the Ruby Price, aren't they?
And that actually is something that they remark on.
The Kojin are coming. The Kojin are coming.
So
Kojin equal redcoats.
And of course, Asahi wants to help save the children, so he goes right on the front lines, and we have another single-player instance where we have to defeat a number of Red Kojin.
While also protecting the children, which Asahi does a pretty good job on.
But did you notice when he runs up, he immediately looks to the right and the left, and you never see characters' eyes move like that normally? So he runs up, stand in front of the children. He looks to his right without moving his head. He just moves just his eyes, moves to the right, looks to the right, looks to the left, basically to see if we see him doing it.
Did not notice that.
Oh, yeah, you need to watch that scene again because he does. And I'm like, you piece of just the whole time. I'm just like, that bad haircut. Like,
So after we dispatch the Red Kojin attackers, at that point, we are suspicious. It's like, well, at that point, Asahi says, "Oh, this must be the Empire's fault." And then Yugiri's like, "Wait a minute, you are a follower of the Empire, are you not?" At which point,
which I mean, it's a legitimate point. If like, hey, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, the Garleans, we're so great, we're so awesome," and he's talking about, "Hey, this bad thing happened because of us. Maybe we're not that great." That's not something you usually expect to hear.
We've never heard a Garland say anything about negative about themselves.
Yeah, but he does say that if changes to occur within the Empire, it must happen from within.
Which, I mean, it makes sense. If you try to force that change from without, they're going to resist it. But having people within, having Garlean say, hey, we want to change this, that's going to be the way you get lasting change.
But he also knows that that's logic, and it's also what we want to hear.
And he's also not a true Garlean.
He is,
wow.
He is basically, he's Doman.
Well, I mean, he's not the true blood Garlean, but he got up to Sass. Like, that's a fairly high rank.
Yeah.
But he is Doman.
Yeah.
I'm sure he admonished that.
Yeah. So anyway, after that encounter, we return to the Enclave. And Sarah, you want to continue on? Or Peter, sure. Avi, how do you guys want to continue on with this?
Pete's not good at reading. You know this. Let's see how he does.
Either way.
Yeah. After we take down the Red Kojin, we return to the Enclave. And he asks us to meet him in secret to decide Yotsu's fate. And I was a little bit taken aback of what Heian actually wanted to do here. He agrees that while the fates have not been kind to her, that he does not condone her actions against Doma, and he contemplates executing her as a punishment for her sins. But Gosetsu interjects at this point, and asking his master where the sins lie, with the soldiers or with the commander. He continues, with both, I would say, for all have a conscience, and all must choose both no memory of who she is or what she has done, what sins remain to be cleansed.
That right there, that line, that was really, really impactful.
I thought so too.
And like, I really love that. This is something where longtime listeners know that I'm really interested in legal matters, interested in the law. And one of the big questions in the law is, like, okay, someone's done something that's bad. Why? Like, it's already been done. Why do we punish? Why do we add more pain to the world? And there's a lot of answers for that. But for someone who has no memory of it, someone like, what purpose does actually punishing her serve? It's a really interesting question of legal and social philosophy, and moral philosophy for that matter.
Are you punishing the same person since her consciousness is no longer there?
That you can get into the question of, like, what actually makes this person a person? Is it the same person? Is it a different person? Like, these deep questions of identity and what constitutes it.
But I actually think that Hien threatening to execute Yotsuyu was not about Yotsuyu. It was about Gosetsu and his response, and seeing how he truly saw her, because he can't get a read on her, but Gosetsu's been with her longer, and so getting the truth out of him with fear of her dying was kind of his way of seeing that. Because he comments earlier on how Gosetsu, I think he said this earlier, it might have been then, he doesn't seem like himself, like he's very tired and worn out. Okay.
It's right after this part of it,
right
but
after
yes.
this? Okay.
Yeah.
So I like what Sarah was saying. It is a difficult question, a philosophical question. So I just wonder what everyone would have done in this position. I personally would have jailed her. I wouldn't have killed her. But I don't think you can just let her walk around this community that she tormented for so many years. Like, that would not be fair to...
I agree, she should be in jail.
So I would have put her in jail.
So I'm not quite sure I do that, though. You bring up an interesting point. The punishment is not just for the person, it's also for the society, like making people feel like it is an orderly society, that there is this justice to it. That actually is a really important point. I don't know if I would go with jailing. Like, if you have, like, jail just sounds like there is sort of a punishment aspect to it. I guess I would be okay with it if jail is like a fairly nice place where, like, she's kept up some.
What I was gonna say.
Well, I guess you could have just, like, sent her to Olda or something like that to live out the rest of her life.
As long as the populace believes she's in jail and she's in a controlled situation.
Yeah, like, put her in exile somewhere, bring her all the dango. She's so adorable with the dango. She wants all the dango.
It makes me want it every time I see it.
I know, right?
Oh, I could totally go for some right now.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you on that, Pete, but like I said, I wanted to really talk about that particular line.
I mean, I thought that line was a great place to discuss that.
If you want to just continue the paragraph, then.
Yeah, and his impassioned plea, Gosetsu's, is not lost on Hien, and he agrees to spare her life and let her stay in Gosetsu's care as long as her memory is in the past, or as long as her memory is lost. Yeah. And I think that's a good point to make, because throughout these negotiations, if I remember correctly, Hien was only going to trade her if her memory came back. And
we find that out right after this.
That didn't quite make sense to me.
Oh, it does to me.
Because she's more valuable as a prisoner, I would think, if she has her memory back.
But so if she has her memory back, then it also becomes something where now the Garleans are really going to want her. She's also becomes a huge danger.
Yeah, yeah. She's a bigger bargaining point.
But what if she had some, like, mega weapon knowledge that they're going to use against us if we give her back?
If she gets her memory back, would she ever give us that information?
Nope.
I know, but at least it would keep it from the Garleans. Like, maybe she had something that they need.
I don't see that. It sounded like more so everything she knew was what they had told her.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, she's more valuable as a prisoner as the Viceroy.
I kind of saw Hien's protection of her, like, because we just watched, I don't know if you guys watched the Star Trek Discovery show.
I've been told I should.
You should. It's amazing. But we were talking about, because there's the whole, the Star Trek, like, mentality of, protecting other people and protecting those who can't protect themselves, and how your morals and this belief is sometimes more important than the greater good. It is the greater good. And I felt kind of like that's how Hien was saying it. Like, he's doing it as protecting this innocent child over, punishing her for the people. And that was more important from that standpoint. Yes, morality.
Yeah, the situation that we're presented with it's not a cut and dried answer at this point. So, there's a lot of different things to think about with it. So,
and I think that's the point of it, to make us.
Absolutely. Avi, you want to read the next one?
Sure. So let's see. So long as her memory's lost, Hien then agrees to Asahi's proposed prisoner exchange, but he makes it clear that Yotsuyu will not be included within this exchange. And he does actually tell him about the memory, I thought, at this point, and then says, as long as she doesn't get her memories back by the appointed time of the exchange. It's not like an extended whenever, like as long as they never come back, or, it's by this time period. The ambassador is surprised, but he requests to see his stepsister in private one last time, which I think is completely understandable, to verify that she has indeed lost her memories.
And maybe a little bit of if there is any fond feelings.
I don't think there is. I really don't think there are. I really don't.
I could see the nature of the relationship being complicated.
Yeah. He didn't treat her so well in flashbacks. At all. I don't know. I think he's a piece of work. I don't like him at all, if you couldn't tell.
No way.
I actually liked him for the longest time.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
yeah.
How
I was
sweet.
like, you little punk. After a short time, Asahi emerges from his meeting, and he is convinced that Yotsuyu remembers nothing, and he concedes to leave her in Hien's care. That's my paragraph.
But yeah, it was that whole scene. It was just like, I didn't know where it was going to go for a little bit, but the fact that I know Gosetsu was worried that he was going to try something.
Even like her being in there alone with him.
Yeah, he wasn't comfortable with it at all.
It'd be like now I will silence you forever.
And that could have been a thing.
Right.
Or like I said, he could have, but at that point, we don't know what happened in there.
I thought it was odd that they didn't show their meeting, but then they do kind of like, show us later.
Yeah.
But I was like, that seemed very out of character for the game to not show us that interaction right then. I was like, well, what?
All right. So, and then at that point, Sarah, you wanted to go?
So this was the bit that I think got the most surprise from people, not necessarily for what happened, but the specifics of how it happened. We escort the ambassador and his retinue back to their ship, and Asahi pulls us aside for a little private talk. It wanted to give us like a little private conversation, thank us. And as he pulls us aside, his face contorts with rage. It's like this, God, that face, kind of haunting.
It was kind of funny, to be honest. I kind of laughed.
It looked like he had to poop.
Anime ragey kind of. Yeah.
But like contorted with rage as he reveals a burning hatred for the savior of the savages. Hadn't said savage, had been very nice with his language, but that's where he lets the mask slip, calls us savages. And that's where the echo kicks in to give us a glimpse of his past. And we see Asahi meeting with Lord Xenos for the first time, where the Garlean prince saves Asahi's life from the Doman resistance on the field of battle. And we realize a little late that Asahi is actually a devoted disciple of Lord Xenos. Asahi goads us to strike him down and undo the peace that they have forged, and mocks our complete powerlessness. Which, I mean, I think a lot of people would have wanted to, but it's like, you do that, and okay, now Doma is definitely embroiled in another war. And so,
what if I hugged him instead?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Aww.
So,
I'll show you my savage rage. Hugs.
Would have seemed nice to see you hug him and like whisper in his ear, "You little piece of shit! You don't know how I'm gonna tear you apart. I'll play your game right now." Like I don't know, just bring it back.
But I mean, that's the thing. That would be exactly in keeping with what he expects from a filthy savage.
To do the exact same thing he did?
Yeah. That's just going to confirm all of his beliefs that, you're just this filthy savage. You're not going to convince him otherwise. I don't think it would rattle him that much. It would just be what he expects from you.
It wouldn't be about, I think, to me, that wouldn't be about convincing him I'm not a savage. That's like trying to convince a racist not to be a racist.
Right.
It's more like trying to convince him, oh, you're going down, little bitch. Okay, you can do this, but you are not winning. I am not powerless. I'm just not playing right now.
Well, yeah, but you'd say that he doesn't have to believe a single word of that. Like,
No,
I don't think it feels like something that's ultimately pointless.
True, you're right.
But so
he's ultimately pointless. Woo!
Yes.
Yeah. So he returns to his airship, and as the Garlands are leaving, we of course immediately tell the others what happened. Good job, us, not keeping this stuff secret.
Yes, I thought that was good.
Yeah. So Yugiri and Alice are very shocked, but Hien appears to be unmoved. He does acknowledge that this does not bode well for the upcoming prisoner exchange, that this may all be a Garland ploy, but as long as there's even the slightest chance for the return of his countrymen, he is willing to roll those dice and see it through.
So what was funny is I don't know, like kind of spaced out at this point. Like I was doing the story and I was just kind of, okay, we're just saying goodbye to him, whatever. This has been like, what the hell? Like, and so I was reading it, but I don't know, I guess I wasn't paying close attention because like when he switched to like crazy eyes, I was like, wait, what just happened? What was I not looking at?
Which, I mean, like, that's actually kind of perfect. He's had the mask on. He's been, like, so polite, so genial. So, like, yeah, maybe a little toadying, but totally within the bounds of normal diplomacy. And then it's not that the mask slips, it's that he
takes it off
to pull it off.
Why, my concern with this is, why did he choose this moment to pull it off?
I think to rattle us.
Yeah.
By the way,
he doesn't know us very well.
I didn't really get the sense that he took it off. I felt that he slipped.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't hold it in anymore?
I read it a little different. Like he didn't like being around the person that killed Xenos. And he's such a fanatic for Xenos that he just couldn't keep it together anymore.
Like he had to say something.
Yeah.
I like that better.
I thought it was a little bit of
that.
weakness on his part.
All I know is I'm looking at some of the screenshots I took of the cutscene, and I never noticed my Lalafel's just looking into the distance like he's not even paying attention to anything he's saying anyway. He's like, cake.
Some people were rather amused at that scene with Lalafels because he does stoop down to lean right into their face.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Lalafel's not even paying attention. He's like looking off to a distance somewhere.
It's like, oh, yeah, that's nice. Oh, look, a butterfly.
But I mean, he was so close to getting on his airship and getting away with all of this.
And he should have known we would have told everyone.
Yeah, like, did he think that they wouldn't believe us?
No, I think he did expect that he was going to tell them. He knows that's something where our hand is forced. I think Zugzwang is the term. It's a chess term. It's German. It's something where it's like, it's a trap, but you have to activate it anyways.
You've activated my trap card!
Like, you have to go into the trap. Like, you don't... like, in order to have any chance of getting the thing you want, you have to spring it. And, like, you know that you do, but you're doing it anyways.
Well,
and
you're
it's
doing that as it was. You know? Like, I mean, with Hien's reaction.
But I mean, like, yeah. But I mean, like, there's also maybe it hurts more if we know why it's happening.
But don't you think that they could have sprung a better trap, during the prisoner exchange?
I mean, if all he cared about was having it be as effective as possible, then sure. But given the fanatical devotion to Xenos, he wants us to know why we're suffering. He wants us to know just what we did and why we are all going to die for it.
I guess I didn't quite understand the whole thing.
Like, and I mean, that's why I think it's a slip, because I don't see what he gained by doing that.
I mean, I think he gained something not in terms of strategic, but maybe in terms of, like, emotionally.
Which it means that's actually a character slip.
Yep.
Not a tactical move. It would be, even if he intentionally did it, it wasn't tactical. It was selfish.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm willing to believe that.
Interesting discussion.
Right? Now, these last scenes are going to probably elicit a lot more discussion.
Yeah,
So,
you get our usual series of cutscenes to set the stage for future stuff, show what's going on elsewhere, all that good stuff.
Yep. First, we start off with Asahi on the bridge of his ship, just so pleased as punch with himself. And he's saying how well the plan is going. But is it really going that well now that he slipped and screwed up?
I mean,
he probably thinks it is.
I mean, we're still going to the prisoner exchange. We're still going through all this stuff.
Yep.
They can still bring overwhelming firepower. Like even though, like,
we're a bunch of idiots.
We're savages.
True.
I think he still expects that we're going to tell them, just that we're not going to be able to actually do anything meaningful about it.
Actually, it was surprising to me that we told them, because I feel like in so many plots on movies and shows, the reason bad stuff tends to happen is because the characters don't communicate with one another.
Yep. There's
So to
an
have them-
entire
Yeah.
there's an entire trope page for it. Poor communication kills.
Yes. And so, like, the fact that they actually communicated, I was like, oh, well, that's different. Okay, good.
Yeah, I was worried that the game wasn't going to tell the other NPCs, but yeah,
Always
glad
right
they
with
did.
that.
Anyway,
I
then
reported it to the GM for harassment.
they said, Chili, he's an NPC. It's a part of the story.
Again, Chili. Again.
This is the last time you're going to call us Chili. But they give you the hug that you wanted.
Yay.
The next scene shows Yotsuyu looking into a mirror, and then flashes back to the meeting she had with Asahi, where he gives her this mirror, and basically, I'm trying to remember exactly what happens within the scene. It wasn't all that memorable, other than the fact that when she has the mirror, she's looking into it and is like, who is this person? Who am I?
Because I hope you remember who you are by looking in this mirror. It's kind of what he says.
See, I'm wondering if there was some other meaning that we were supposed to get out of it.
It's
Well, I'm
magical elegant tech that has
Yeah.
memory stored in it, and it brings them back.
Yes.
Well, I'm
that's
wondering
right.
if there isn't something like that. There's some sort of Garlean Magitech type of thing within the mirror.
I
That's
mean,
what
the other thing I was thinking of is it's possible it's like that he's saying like I hope your memory comes back as a crew, like I am going to totally be cutting you down, and I want you to know why you're dying when I put my sword through you.
I wonder if it's like a spying device.
Oh, that would make sense too.
Maybe.
For a while during the story, I thought she might have been like almost like deactivated like a spy, like she was a sleeper spy, and he just had to say like a phrase to reactivate her, but that never came to fruition.
Well, or maybe there's going to be some sort of signal that gets activated through this thing too. Because
But the back of the mirror was very ornate,
Mhm.
which could be hiding.
It reminded me of, I know it sounds weird, but any of you watched Doctor Who? All?
Yes.
Remember when the Doctor
Thought we were
turned
gonna save
himself
everything
human
with
by
a magic
using the
screwdriver?
watch?
I couldn't hear you over Pete, Chili.
Remember the episode where Doctor turned himself human with the watch?
Yes.
It kind of gave me that kind of vibes.
So she's gonna live out her entire life.
Well, no, it's just not. I just said that there's something to do with how, the way she'll get her memories back.
Yeah. Even if
But
it takes a
maybe
long route.
something to. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
You
So-
all should watch Doctor Who.
it's a good show. I haven't seen the last couple seasons, but
And there's gonna be a lady doctor.
all right. So lots of stuff we can speculate on there, but this last scene, we are in the halls of the Garlean capital, and a Garlean surgeon walks in on a patient. And the camera slowly pans up to reveal familiar blonde locks and a very sinister smile.
And a ghetto booty.
Well, we don't see
Why
the
was
ghetto
I
booty,
not seeing-
Yeah, you
Yes,
don't really
you see
see
his
that.
hips
I
on the
was
side.
waiting for that.
I noticed the hips on the side when he's sitting there.
but then we get the full pan, and then we see Xenos.
Chili.
No, not Chili. We see Xenos with bandages around his arm and his neck.
Doesn't make sense for how he died.
Well, he did slit his
He
throat.
cut his throat, didn't he?
What was
I
that?
thought he cut his throat.
He
like
did.
I didn't
Yeah,
think
I
he
didn't-
full on beheaded himself.
No. I don't know why I didn't see him slit his wrist. I don't
Yeah, his
know why
arms.
he had
Yeah, but-
bandages on his
But he had a bandage on his arm, but then he had a bunch of bandages around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Elegant plastic surgery.
Just plopped his head and arms on a different body.
So the beast is alive. Or is he?
So what do you,
Or is
how do you
he?
think?
I hated this. Like, I was all in on the story. I do not like this plot point.
Well, I mean, this could raise so many different things. I mean, is it a Asian
Is it a clone?
in the body? Is it a clone? Is it
Well, Well, because that goes back with the memory in the mirror for Yotsuyu.
Mhm.
Like, do they have the consciousness stored somewhere?
I've been reading people think that Xenos has the artificial echo.
Oh, they were working on that.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, like we know he had that. That's how he was able to like do that whole fusing with Shinryu thing.
So maybe
And also, is that why he was so willing to kill himself? Because he
Maybe.
knew.
maybe he
He
didn't
wasn't
actually
dying?
kill himself. Maybe he just incapacitated himself, and then he got a raise cast on him.
It went to home point.
Yeah, he HP'd.
I don't remember exactly what happened when he did commit suicide. Like, did we just send the body back to?
I mean, we
to his
have people.
family?
We kill a lot of people. Like, I think we have people to take care of that sort of thing for us.
You would think we would have confirmed the kill and buried him or something.
Well, I thought the Resistance carried his body off.
Yeah.
I don't remember them giving it back to the or to the
Unless it was like stolen from us.
who knows?
Yeah, according to this achievement, I have killed at least 200,000 things. I can't be expected to keep track of them at this point.
Oh, come on.
But I mean, if you go back to the clone idea, I mean, yes, he's got the bandages on his arms and his neck, which the reason I bring it up is because the arms don't make sense. Is he a newly created form?
Oh, it's like Evangelion when like the Ray always came in all bandaged up.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
why
then
it's like, if that's why he would just kill himself, because that body's done. He's got another one.
that wouldn't be a clone. Clones are raised from children.
Well, in this world, I mean,
It's a sci-fi / fantasy clone.
yeah, you don't try to.
Well, the clone army wasn't just.
No, but he could have been a child clone that was raised in a fetus sort of environment until they needed the body when he was an adult, and then pulled him out.
I feel
bandages are for where he was intravenously fed.
I feel like we're quibbling over terminology here.
Yeah,
when we understand the concept.
But I mean, there's
I
a lot
also
of. Go ahead, Shirley.
I also thought it might have been a body double, to be honest.
I've heard that one too. Yeah, that we fought initially or that died. I don't know.
No, what we see there.
That's not him.
Huh.
Yeah, that the bandages are just where they're sort of making sure they looks 100% like Xenos. See, my theory, like when the guards were talking about him before.
Or wait, maybe it's Elidibus? Like, we saw that he revealed himself to the Emperor. So,
That was also a thought too. Like I said, maybe he's an Asian.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Elidibus is an Asian. I always have him classified as mentally slightly different. Even though, he is just an Asian.
I don't think it's
I don't know. I
Asians,
kind of feel like
but it's
they're just going
Asians.
to be doing a bit of hand waving and being like, "You didn't really see him die. Like he was still alive, and the Guardians got him back." And it's like,
See, this is why we needed the Stillion there. As much as I hate saying that sentence in any sort of way and form, because I hate the guy, at least he would have finished him off like he did the eye. He'd be like, "Oh, stab, done, bye."
Yeah, so we should have just taken our sword or our claws or whatever and gone right through the back of his head as he was lying on the ground.
You gotta make
Double
sure they
shot,
did.
double tap.
Yep.
All right. So, what did you guys think of the storyline for the MSQ?
I loved it up until that last part.
Yeah,
I actually really did enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm liking that they're putting a lot more politics within the storyline. It's not
Love
just
it.
fight, destroy, fight, destroy. There's a lot of subtle things going on.
Well, it's interesting. I was actually having a conversation with somebody about this. It's like how they're kind of mirroring society right now with the focus on politics and kind of bringing that into the game, which I think is going to be one, because we're going to win. That's what we do.
Who knows?
It's going to be very satisfying for us. And also the comment was brought up with the bringing of Kefka back and how, the insanity of him and, the unpredictability of him.
Yeah. He doesn't have a greater purpose. He just wants to destroy things because it's the only thing that makes him feel something.
And he mirrors that with Xenos, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Xenos actually said that exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he kind of felt like nothing was a challenge anymore, and then we finally killed him, and he was happy about it.
Yeah, because that's how he felt. That was how he would feel things.
His blood was boiling and he was alive.
Yes, finally alive. We made a lot of sex jokes about it in our podcast.
Woo!
Did it put blood in your dick, Pete?
Might have been the episode that gave him the idea for that.
I don't remember.
I mean, even during the battle at Alamigo, he's saying stuff like, "May this moment last forever."
Yeah.
It's not about it's about the, oh my gosh, this fight, I'm actually feeling shit.
Yes.
The problem is, though, he's so powerful that really he's never had a fight where he's actually felt anything. So the fact that we're able to give him some sort of challenge excites him and gives him the adrenaline rush they won't have had before.
But what makes him so strong, you know?
The
His
echo.
ass, obviously.
Dead ass.
Axe.
That ass. He's got the Garlean, mechanic stuff in his booty.
Is this where we complain about butt sliders and how apparently only Garleans
Butt
have
slider!
access to them?
I wish we had butt sliders. But it gotta be wide and out.
All right. So shall we delve into the Four Lords story?
Sure.
This was actually a very surprisingly good story. And there were a lot of surprises to it, I thought. It totally was different than what I pictured the Four Lords story would end up being.
Yeah, there was a lot more depth, especially given that we came in from 11, where it's just, it's Sky. There's some gods. Go fight them. Go beat them up. One of them has pants that everyone will break up your link shell for.
He's not wrong. All right, so if you remember back just before we went into Yangsha, Soraban had a business venture for us that was going to be widely profitable and, will take care of all of the issues that silly little Master Lavalier decided to inflict upon us by spending all of the Scion's money on a sword.
Not all of it, just most of it. Also, he feels bad about it.
Yeah, but he was still really loose and fast with company funds.
And he didn't even get a gift receipt.
He definitely doesn't deserve this big tombstone.
Gosetsu's like, well, I found a new sword. I don't really need my old one.
They never even used it. Yeah, they never gave it to him.
Didn't they?
I thought he did get it back at some point. Like, wasn't he carrying it again after that?
There was no actual scene of us giving it back, I don't think.
Yeah. I didn't pay attention to see if he actually has it again. So I didn't notice it.
I guess, I never really noticed the scene where they did. I guess
we just bought it to tease him. Go, look, we got your sword.
Ooh,
look.
Ooh. Come here, boy. But so anyway, the proposal starts with a missive from an anonymous petitioner who knows of our battle against the Lord of the Revel. They want to hire us, but have asked us to demonstrate our prowess by first taking on a test, and that's clearing out a bunch of Oni from Hell's Lid.
And Onis are like gods, right?
They are demons.
Demons. Sometimes also translated as ogres, but there is kind of a demonic aspect to them.
Monsters.
It's a little bit of a weird term that doesn't translate quite neatly, but ogres or demons is usually fine.
Yes. So we are asked to go find the entrance to Hell's Lid, and we go in, and we have a really cool fight where that dungeon is a lot of fun. We talked a little bit about it on the episode, but
really
I think it's my favorite of the two dungeons.
It's mine, definitely mine, 100%. Every time I seem to get the other one now all the time, and I'm like, oh.
I mean, the story with that one is cute, but I just like everything around Hell's Lid.
Mm-hmm.
The way they did all the fire mobs. I know Chile loves that. It's like big old lava scorpion. Everybody praise lava scorpion.
Praise lava scorpion.
But so we go in there, and the end boss was a shock to me. The fact that it was Genbu already.
You mean Ninja Turtle Yoda?
Yes.
This is exactly what it looks like to me.
He did. It looked like a mix between a Ninja Turtle and Splinter, yes. But
no, Yoda.
Well,
Yoda hair and Yoda ears.
I had a lot of fun with the mechanics of that fight, looking at the grid and trying to quickly figure out, okay, where is that wave going to sweep through?
Yeah, that was the new mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
It actually took me a minute to see where the blue ball was coming. Like, where is it starting? I couldn't see the blue ball for some reason. Then I saw it. I was like, oh, I'm dumb.
And sometimes it was hiding on the boss, depending on where the tank was holding it. So, but no, good fight. But then after, basically, it was just a test for us to see how we would handle, taking on the auspices. And after the battle, we have a long scene in a temple within Hell's Lid called Ryzen Temple. And
a lot.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and finish talking about this, but I'll tell you a little bit about Ryzen Temple, because
Yep.
there's a lot of interesting stuff about this.
And basically, at this point, Genbu kind of fills us in on the story of what the job actually is. So go ahead, Sarah.
So, yeah, I was really interested to see that name, Ryzen Temple, because, again, drawing on the FF11 connection, the final expansion, mini-expansion, whatever it was called, Rhapsodies of Vanadil, sent us to Ryzen Jima, Jima in this case meaning island, like Iwo Jima, where there was a Ryzen Temple, where there was a great force being guarded, and where we worked with one of the last remnants of the world, the young samurai Iroha, to protect it and to save the world. It was also interesting that the orchestrion role that gave us the music for that place, which was the same music that played on Ryzen Jima in FF11, that song was called Iroha. So seeing like
big bag of knowledge.
Yes, he is.
That was
So
really
yeah,
cool.
they were like really playing up that connection there, and I'm wondering if there's going to be further connections to that, if there's going to be any other stuff that they take that and then play around with it, change around the meaning, have that thing where it's like it's kind of an echo of it, but reinterpreted.
Yes, all the knowledge. But basically, what we get from Genbu is the story of what's happening. He tells us the story of what the auspices are, a battle that took place many, many years ago, where Tenzen and the Four Lords took on another very powerful auspice named Koryu, and after defeating it, they had to imprison it within basically a stone prison.
Yeah, that was another interesting one. If you may remember from an earlier lore segment when we were talking about the Four Lords, in the Japanese system, Koryu is often used as a kind of central deity that sort of sits above them all. Like each of them being at the 4 points of the compass, and then Koryu kind of at the center.
Yep. Instead of brain.
Kirin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like we got
Yeah.
with 11.
Yeah, Kirin and Koryu are both used in various sources, so...
So being we already have Kirin in the primal mounts, they went with the Koryu instead. So basically what ended up happening, what caused Koryu to, basically almost cause a calamity within the Ruby Price was his Aramatama, or his rage, so to speak, had caused him to basically go into a chaotic spiral and go out of control.
Yeah.
So
he's like still holding it together, but there's kind of this tumultuous rage that's building up within him that it's taking all of its effort to hold back.
with Koryu.
Oh wait, no, you're talking about Koryu.
Yeah,
sorry.
With Koryu, he totally succumbed to the Aramatama.
Yeah, and once you have completely succumbed, there is no coming back.
Yep. So they had no choice but to take him down, and then
Like going black.
Yep. Oh my.
You never go back. Sorry.
So with the last of his strength, Tenzen helped to seal Koryu within that sealing stone, and then he presented the auspices with a divine crystal, which they believe is actually the source of the auspices' power. So they built then this temple, Ryzen Temple, to honor Tenzen and to protect and watch over Koryu's prison. Now, the issue that they're coming up with is all of the auspices are starting to fight against their Aramatama, and they need to make sure that doesn't get out of control. So basically, they're hiring us to beat them up and knock some sense into them.
It's more like letting them beat us up, I think.
Well, it depends on the parties you get.
Yeah, it's it's kind of like they talked about. It's like Byakko mentions at one point that like pretty much he's focusing his energies on holding in his Aramatama, but that he's now going to change that to protecting his Nigimatama, letting the Aramatama out, and like you go ahead and beat that up, and he's going to keep that inner core tranquility safe.
Yep. And we need to do this so that they can be powerful enough to basically protect and take on Koryu once his prison breaks free.
It's very Star Wars, like, dark side, light side. You can't let the dark side take over, but you have to have both of them equally.
Yep.
And so we're kind of letting him like flush out all the dark side that's kind of permeated him so he can really focus on the white.
Basically.
2 there must be.
Yes.
And then Yoda was there too, so it all made sense. See?
Do or do not. There is no try. Sorry, that was very bad. But
I just can't wait to fight Fat Cat.
I think it was the pig, or was it a dog that was my favourite? And you couldn't actually communicate with it. But if you found it at the back left, it was. It would run all the way to the statue and be like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. And it gets to the thing that he goes up to guards and goes, "Can I go in?" He's like, "No, but I want to go in. Really? No, but I want to really. No. Oh, next time."
I've never noticed that guy.
I just like that the Fat Cat was a typical cat, just like, I could have killed you 5 times over by now.
But I didn't want to.
5 times before you hit the ground.
Yeah.
Yes. Loved it.
I
was like,
do you guys find the parrot as well? The parrot, if you go up to the parrot and be like, "I don't like humans," and flies off.
Yeah, I followed that guy for a while, just for spite.
Yeah, I only did the guys I could click on.
Yeah, I did too, but we can go back in and check them all out.
Yep. There's also one where one of them's greeting an otter who is apparently it's a newly arrived auspice, and it's like, "We haven't had a rat here in a while." It's like, "I am not a rat."
I remember that.
Yeah, it's cute. But basically, then they also go over what auspices are. They're basically animals who have attained a measure of divinity after living for over 1,000 years. So that's kind of crazy. How would you maybe think that it seems like it's animals who have a form of the echo?
Huh.
That would make sense, actually.
An echo
There's
in
just
an
something
animal.
about them slightly different.
Mm-hmm. Maybe just manifests differently, but they are basically planetary protectors. They are also there to kind of protect and keep Hydaelyn in balance.
Well, I mean, it can manifest in all the different races. I mean, we've got cat people, so why could it not manifest in a fat cat?
Mikote scholars are very clear on the fact that it's in the Fat Cat minion description. Hang on.
We went over this in a stream, didn't we, Sarah?
And then the Aurora are part dragon, so, lizards, and I'm just saying. Like,
no, part demon.
Demon, actually.
it's a demon, you're right.
Yes.
But
here we
Jeez,
are.
Avi.
Summon your Fat Cat. Summon your Fat Cat minion. Despite convincing research by top academics from around the realm and beyond, most Mikote scholars refuse to believe that there may be some ancestral connection between their race and cats, fat or not.
just because they refuse to believe it doesn't mean it's not true.
La la la, I can't hear you.
I play Mikote too. I'm just saying.
You sit upon a throne of self-hating lies. Self-hating lies.
All right, so continuing on, like I said, we talked about the fact that Genbu was concerned that the seal holding Koryu is weakening, and he asks for our help in preparing the other auspices to battle him. Our first task is to help Byakko quell the raging Aratama within inside him. And while Byakko initially doubts that we're strong enough to accomplish the task, something about us reminds him of Tenzin, and he chooses to trust us.
Because we're awesome.
Yep. So
we can punch him really, really hard.
Yeah. Well,
Poke him with my stick.
The thing that I liked was, he wasn't sure that we were going to actually, be able to do it. So before we actually, ended up fighting him, he wanted to see his homeland one last time. So he takes us to Yangsha. And
I liked it.
Then we get that nice little story about him and Tenzin.
Yeah, I liked the little backstory of it was different than all the other
You want
cats.
to tell us a story then, Avi?
Oh, I'd have to read it. I don't remember it.
It's in there.
Where is it?
It's actually towards up one more.
There you go.
There you go.
So once his Aramitama is quelled and his spirit is back in balance, the White Tiger tells us of his history. Ostracized by his peers as a harbinger of doom, he lived a life of solitude. A chance encounter with a man named Tenzin changed everything. The man could speak to animals, which made him an outcast among his people. When the man did not shy from the tiger's threats, sharing his own tales of misfortune, Byakko realized that Tenzin was a kindred spirit, and the two were always together from that point on.
I thought that was a sweet story.
I did too. I was like, we're outcasts together. It's like all of us.
Aww.
Right?
I don't want to think about that bit too much, but yes.
Yes! That's why FanFest is so fun. In a
One of
nutshell.
us. One of us.
We're all Byaku and Tenzin, and FanFest is where we get to be together every 2 years. So it's kind of like Lady Hawk as well.
Okay. I don't know what that is, but okay.
Crickets.
Have you not seen Lady Hawk? Oh my God, it's an amazing movie. So, okay, I'm going to, very short. It's a couple that loves each other and they get a curse on them. And he's a wolf during the day, I believe. And she's a human. And then when the sun sets, she's a hawk at night and he's a man. And they only get to see each other as the sun rises and falls. It's very sad.
And then Jake's like, wow, Lady Hawk reference.
And I'm not that old. It's a really old movie, but it's like Michelle Pfeiffer, you guys. Like, it's awesome.
Meh.
He's old.
Fuck you. Old movies are
Does
awesome.
sound familiar to me, though.
The chat's on. They're on with me. They're like, yeah, Avi likes good fantasy movies.
Avi likes fantasy movies. That's true.
Good ones. Watch it, all of you. Homework.
It sounds familiar. I think I've seen
Don't
it.
tell me what to do. You're not my mom.
I'm the boss of you. Mm-hmm.
Well, we are supposed to get married at FanFest, but
Yeah, I can't wait.
I forgot about that. Took me a moment. Oh yeah,
remember, you're the one who brought it up.
I did. Yes, because you backed me when Pete didn't.
And me and Chili gonna get married.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Do it all together.
Then we're gonna hit up some dispensaries.
Oh dear.
Oh my.
Woohoo!
As long as I can be in the dress. Is that okay, Pete?
We can get one big dress and both be in it.
Perfect.
As long as Pete gets his metallic green fro, all will be well with the world.
Oh my God! You have to get a metallic green fro.
I tried to get him one because we did it. We streamed our Eternal Bonding reunion. Like we redid it, and I got him a green bow tie, the one that you ever see on his microphone and stuff. I tried to get him a fro, but I didn't want to spend $30 on a green fro.
Oh come on! It would be worth it, especially for FanFest.
Well, yeah, maybe for FanFest, but I didn't want to do it for just that and have him be like, I'm not wearing that. That's going to be itchy or something. So
Can't we just perm my hair and dye it green?
perm is like permanent. You know that, right? Like until you cut it off.
Permanent until I pick it. Yep.
Oh God, no. You don't want a bald Pete. No one wants that.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
So Byaku.
Oh God.
That is the common joke.
that is his thing. Yes.
It is.
So
Actually, I've heard other people say it too.
I've been saying it on my streams as well when I've been trying to do Byaku Extreme.
Makes you so mad. You just bukkake.
Wonder what happens when you Google Bukkake Extreme.
No, don't do it.
Phoenix Down Radio strongly discourages people from actually doing that.
But if you
I mean-
do that, please tell us what happens. We don't
mean,
need screenshots.
If it's your thing, more power to you, I guess.
We're not responsible for any malware you may get on your computer.
That's more the concern, I think.
Really all depends what side of the Bukkake you're on. Like, that makes a big difference.
No, that would be more viruses. Anyway,
Oh.
so we return to Ryzen Temple to tell Genbu of our success, and we discover that he has conscripted Soroban in helping to maintain the wards on Koryu's prison, much to his dismay.
Poor Soroban. He just wanted to make some money, and now he's having to do all these ritual prayers.
I know. He's just whiny, though. Come on.
The funniest part about that was when we go back to Tamamizu. Basically, they are already aware that Soroban is in that predicament.
Jeez, I didn't notice that.
The fat cat actually brought a note. So that I thought that was hilarious.
What
But
did the note say?
One of my favorite parts was, I think it was Soroban. He's like, "Why they call me a talking turtle or something?"
oh
like that.
my god!
Yes.
Oh my god!
It's like you are a talking turtle.
Really, dude?
Pot, meat, kettle.
Oh, no. But they don't descend from turtles. They descend from some other shelled being. At least that's what they believe.
Fact checker, Sarah.
Well, I mean, the shells are like backpacks for them, so
It does
maybe.
look like that.
I was just being an ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would do so much DNA testing on them if I could. There's probably an Allegan DNA sequencer. Let's go find one.
I
Of them.
would
Sarah,
be surprised
homework.
if they were made by the Allegans.
Everyone was made by the Allegans.
Well, especially
including the
Lalafell.
Allegans. Including the Allegans. It was an accident with a time machine.
So then it's like the chicken and the egg kind of
They're,
thing.
they're
You
Time
never know
Lords.
Like no, like
Doctor Who is an Allegan.
I mean, like physics does not actually require causality to be preserved. Like you can have as long as like all the stuff is accounted for. Physics doesn't care about where it came from. It doesn't have to have come from anywhere.
As long as it's there.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically the story of that we got so far with the Four Lords. And I don't know about you guys, I really liked it.
It was fun. I like that it didn't take itself too seriously, but still had heart.
Mm-hmm.
The story was definitely better than the fight has been.
Not having luck with the fight.
No, it's easy.
No, I have 24 clears and no paladin weapon so far.
You know, I haven't cleared it
feel
yet, but I
bad.
just hit 340. You know I'm going to like get my weapon on the first go, and he's going to be so mad.
I did.
Yeah, I feel really bad because when I ran it, we had a warrior and dark knight, and I got the sword, and someone else got the shield, so I just bought the shield with totems.
I did like the fight, actually. Like, the first couple times I liked it. The only part that annoys me now is actually the part that I thought was the most unique and fun to begin with was that little skydiving part. But now once you run it over and over again, it gets so tedious because it's no different in extreme than it is in normal.
Well, there's more balls, I
It might
think.
be a little bit longer, but it's not difficult at all. Like, you only have to move a minimal amount during the whole thing.
As I just heard, there's also more balls.
Yeah. There are a few
Yeah,
more balls, but
More balls
they're
is always
scripted.
difficult to
Whenever you
navigate.
add more balls to Bukkake, it gets a little bit
navigate because you can't see.
Just
Oh
watch
my.
out when it goes to your face because you don't want it in your eyes.
See, Chili went there too.
Chili does go there.
He does. He went a little raunchier than I did.
You don't know Chili very well, do you?
I haven't seen Chili go raunchier than me very often.
You need to listen to more podcasts, Avi.
I don't listen to any podcasts.
Disappoint.
Not that it's not you.
She
It's
only
everyone.
listens when I'm in the car with her and I make her.
Well,
listen.
you
Otherwise,
can.
I listen to audiobooks.
But you can catch ours on YouTube now. You said you can get that at work.
Yes, I did. Well, except sometimes YouTube won't even freaking work at work because my internet connection is balls.
Google
Lovely.
Quest said, "Why did Chili bring his elf red boy?" Because I paid him for the hour, and I thought, might as well just
But
leave him.
I do want to petition if Chili goes to North American Fan Fest that he flies into San Diego next time and drives with us to Las Vegas.
Oh
Yes.
God.
We have a
wow.
spare bedroom with a very uncomfortable bed.
That
you
does
won't
sound fun,
be long.
I'll have a look and see how much it'll cost.
Yes. We'll feed you tacos and hot salsa.
Yay!
Well, they call him Chili for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Be spicy.
Any other thoughts on the Four Lords?
The little minions were cute, and I just want to live in that area.
Yeah. They're adorable.
I want to fight Fat Cat.
I do too. I want to see what Fat Cat becomes when he like succumbs to his Aramitama.
What did
Oh
you
my
guys
Whatever.
about the fucking tiger arm that Byakko has in the fight?
His giant penis?
That's a little ridiculous.
That's a little weird.
Very phallic.
Now, my expectation with the fat cat is that at some point in it, it goes into an enrage where it flops over and exposes its belly, and you have to do an intricate dance to move through and pet it without it clawing you.
Oh, I would love
you have
that.
to click the button
But no
as
matter what,
fast
you
as
still
you
get
can
bit. You still
to
get bit.
scratch its belly.
What if it turned into a giant Mikote?
Ooh.
That would be
No, I would
weird.
like that.
I
That'd
just
be
did it for
horrible.
Sayer. I would just went there to be that person.
I want a big fat Jabba the Hutt fat cat.
Yeah, I
Next
want it to either be like super fat or be like it goes really skinny.
It gets like
For some
super
reason.
sexy.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Fat Cat has
Sexy
a six
cat.
pack and is about to pound you.
No, Fat Cat's a
No,
lady.
it goes super sexy
Totally lady.
jutsu, Naruto style.
But it would be kind of cool if it was so fat that you like had to like climb up its fat rolls like they were stairs to like get to its
Kind
head.
of the Colossus style.
I'm confused. Is this turning into a Chuck Tingle novel or not?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means, but I
Oh
still
my
can't
gosh, I
remember.
have so much to teach you.
Should I
Teach
Google
me,
it?
senpai.
Run
Because
away,
it-
Pete. Run
Google
away.
that
I'm
right
so
after
bad at it.
Bukkake Extreme.
Google says you have to collect food for it and feed it before it enrages.
Oh man. But what about the belly pets?
So it's
The
become
silent
burger
belly
time?
pet?
That's the interaction
Yeah,
thing. You
that's
have to
the
click the
quick
button.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
click it as many times as you can. But
You feed
they
it, and
put them in
then
the
once
right
it's fed,
spot.
it falls over, and then you belly rub it.
There's like 3 spots to choose from, and the spot that's the right spot to click changes every time, and sometimes midway through it.
Sounds like Fat Cat Savage.
Yes, that's the savage
And if you
version.
hit the right button, it really is Bukkake Extreme.
No, Pete. No, you're not petting the cats ever again.
Do we want to go on to Sigmascape, or shall we save that for another time? Because I see Sarah's still working on it.
I'm on the last paragraph. I can write fast enough.
Ooh, snappy. I know you got quiet.
I can talk about the fights, but not the lore.
Well, basically, we're going to talk mainly just about the story behind it.
Well, I mean, like, as we go through each one, we can talk a little bit about the fights themselves, too. That also buys me more time.
There you go. All right.
Because if you have ever listened to our podcast, there's no lore at all in there. I'm gonna have to hijack Sarah every couple episodes.
I'll be
I was
honest.
actually thinking that we should have like a monthly Sayers segment where he just gives us the lore that he thinks that everyone should know.
And we already
That's
have
a long
alliteration
list.
to Sarah
I
segment.
know, that's why, but each month it would be one. It'd be like the Greenleaf Minute, but like 20 minutes of lore once a month.
Say
Maybe
a
like fun
story.
facts.
Fun facts.
We'll figure that out later.
Like he's filling the gap in the show that we don't know how to do.
Or they can just come to us.
Yes. That's probably smarter.
All right. Because Sarah might get a little bit, be like, everybody wants me. I don't know what to do.
He knows too much.
Hey, that's a good problem.
It is a good problem to have. All right. So with Sigmascape, basically we go to the Reach, and Jesse tells us that a surge of anomalous energy has been detected at the Yawn, which we all assume is Omega's way of calling us back. So
Jesse's the little girl next door for me. I fuck with that. Like, I like Jesse.
That's how Pete judges characters in the game.
is if he'd hit it or quit it.
Yeah, I hit it, Jesse.
I like that part just because, like, Alpha also got his super adorable uniform.
I know, he looks so cute. Alpha's actually the wallpaper on my computer.
Alpha is amazing.
He's adorable.
So,
And I'm sure Jesse was thinking at least a little bit of the marketing potential there.
Oh, yeah.
And Alpha looks great in the Ironworks.
mm-hmm. So we meet up with the crew, which at this point is us, Sid, Nero, and the newly suited up Alpha. And we go back into the Yawn. We fight through another gauntlet to ascertain. So Omega can ascertain our skills. And even though we kick its ass.
Given the previous fight and the fact that we succeeded when he didn't expect us to, he's like, okay, it's like he actually made a comment. I was like, okay, you've got new gear, all this other stuff. We need to reevaluate you and see where your power level's at.
Yep. It's over 9,000! I beat you, Chili.
That was also a great sequence just because Nero busted out his stuff with the whole transformation sequence.
I totally didn't scream it's morphing time during that part.
It's magical Nero time.
Nero's amazing.
Time.
So you know what I like about Jesse is that she'll call out Sid, like when he's spending too much money. Like, we need that bitch for Alphano.
Well, we've got Tataru.
Yeah, we got
Too
Tataru.
much money. Get your shit in line. It's another reason I love her.
Pete's on one topic. It's one topic, Pete, now. He can't move on.
Can't get off of Jesse.
No.
Oh my!
If I could have Jesse and Julian, oh my god.
Julian is in
Julian Manderville.
Hildebrand's mother.
Hildebrand's mom. That's his favorite. He likes the ponytails.
She's pretty hilarious.
Oh, she's
Something for him to
amazing.
hang on
I
to,
would let her
right?
hit me with her frying pan at any time.
Oh my god. I married that.
I need to take a break.
Is that why we're getting married now?
Yes, I need a break from that.
So what you're saying is I need to get a ponytail for FanFest?
Yes.
No,
I
two.
used to have one growing up, actually. So
There's also
Chili,
these things called wigs, Chili. It's good.
no, I'll just grow one. It's
Chili,
fine.
I fear for you.
Why?
I fear for you, my friend.
It was health reasons why I used to have one.
Pete just recently had one. Wait, you had you had a ponytail for health reasons?
When I was a kid, I used to have a lot of brain scans. So back then, the only way they could test it was to shave your head. So the only place I was allowed to grow hair was at the back of my head. So that was why I had a ponytail.
You had a rat tail then?
Yeah.
Oh.
All the way down to my back.
That makes sense then. I was like, I'd never heard I needed a ponytail for health reasons. I needed clarification on that.
He just
Yeah.
wanted to
It
hang
was
on
the
to
only
some
place
hair.
I could grow hair, so...
I mean,
I'd go with I was too sexy with all my hair. I had to shave it.
All right, continuing on. Sorry, guys.
Yes. No,
Yes,
don't be sorry.
More about Jesse. I'm
So-
ready.
So Omega is still dissatisfied with our performance. He doesn't understand what makes us the way we are. He still thinks that we are crap.
Is Omega actually a woman?
Possibly.
I'm not sure that Omega has a gender.
I know, but just hearing that sentence was very.
Well-
Omega's still not happy with our performance.
Oh God.
Hey, the guys
Omega
can
is
also
kind of a
be
bitch.
kind of a bitch about that.
It's true.
I mean,
Very true.
yes.
Yes, that's true. Don't worry about that, Sarah. That's
Oh, very
fine.
true.
It happens to everyone, Sarah.
At that point, Midgard Sormer
Murdered by
appears.
words.
We'll make it all
Poor
better
Klaus
later.
trying to keep us on topic.
It doesn't work very well, does it?
It's a losing proposition.
Well,
All right. A for effort.
so at this
So
point,
I love Jesse.
let me just hit the mute button on Pete. Actually, I can't do that because I would mute Avi too. Damn it! That was his end game.
That's when I use the fists, right? Like act like a monk and just punch
There
it.
we go.
Yes.
Yeah, stop fisting me.
Oh God.
All right, Dragon Kick, Twin Snakes, Snap
Yeah.
Punch.
I'll throw the cat at you.
Bootshine.
Yeah, throw that pussy.
Oh,
over.
don't throw the cat. I'll get too excited.
So Midgard Sormer appears to trade words with Omega, basically hinting at their tumultuous past that they had eons and eons ago.
Just how old are these fuckers?
They're very old. They're almost as old as Avi.
Oh, word.
So,
You're
Rude.
married now. You made a old joke. It's done.
but you know
It's
what's
over.
you know what's even worse? I'm older than that.
I know.
You're older than 45?
45?
Wait, Arby's not 21?
No. But
So-
thank you, Chill.
But basically, we're then allowed to proceed. So Sid prepares base camp in front of the portal to Sigmascape, which is a picture of a big, sinister, grinning mask.
Ooh, who could it be? No one has any idea.
Not at all.
Arrow. Yeah.
No clue.
To be fair, without all of the hype before, like after the trailer, everyone talking about it, I would have had no idea who it was. Like, if,
We know. We know.
but I'm saying if you're just brand new to MMOs,
But it's still a fun fight, so it's okay.
I know. I'm just saying, like, there were 4
If they
fights in
haven't
this.
revealed
3 of
it-
them were fun. One of them had a dependence on knowing a previous Final Fantasy before to like, I believe. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
All right. So once we get
Jesse? No, I'm just kidding. I was just trying to be an ass.
Oh my God, people, you're the worst.
I know.
which is why this is going to be our best episode ever. So basically, as we prepare for the first fight, Sid tells us that we don't have a reference point, so we don't have any information on what the hell we're going to be fighting. They're getting some really weird readings from within the Sigmascape, and they don't really know how to.
Yeah, they have
How
no
do they
idea
know?
where we're going to come in, what we're going to be facing. We are going in blind.
I never know when I'm coming in.
Oh my God, it's just going to keep going now.
Yes.
Sorry.
Is it in yet?
I don't know.
So she said,
So basically, he wishes us luck, and we go in blind, just like Pete most of the time.
"Yeah."
And then someone
buddy.
kicked us from the pie for not watching a learning video.
So we arrive on the back of a freight car with a homicidal locomotive barreling down on us.
Woo, woo.
And we fight the Phantom Train.
Sounded just like it. I'm there.
I choose you.
Oh,
Did you see somebody actually made that card?
Oh, it's amazing.
Excellent.
That's glorious.
Oh, but so yeah, we fight Phantom Train. I am very, very disappointed at the lack of suplexing.
Yeah. That said, I was really pleased that there was a segment where we go up and because like the original Phantom Train, you had to operate the switch on the little locomotive steam stack in order to shut it down. So having us go and attack that was actually kind of great.
I thought it was a good fight. There was a lot of dancing around. Like I said, I haven't done anything with Savage yet, so all of my experiences are going to be normal mode only.
Ours too.
Yeah. I
Can
did
I-
not realize that you had to have a ghost catch you, and so I got murdered at that one point.
Oh my god! First time we did that,
He's a jerk.
everyone. No, first time I
Oh.
did that. I should say, not we. First time I did that, everyone but one person in our group did not get hit by the ghost, and we wiped.
It's like, oh my god, it's got a tether. It's coming for me. You're supposed to avoid that shit.
Yes. No, Pete was like, avoid, or what did you tell me to do? Like, avoid the ghosts?
I don't know. I don't like telling you shit.
I know. And he was just being a jerk about
I'm
it.
like, just do it, die, and then you know it.
Yeah. And so then I didn't do the ghost, and then I died. And then I was just like, you suck.
But what's kind of cool is if you get hit by a ghost at any point, you get taken into a train car.
Not cool if you're a healer. It's kind of frustrating if you're a healer.
I can see that, but...
Yeah, I'm like, damn it. I hope the other guy's doing okay. Oh, because the last time I did, I healed on Scholar, and the white mage felt very new, and they got hit by the ghost, and then took forever. So I was like solo healing everything. So don't get hit by the ghost.
So I don't know if this was a real post on the forums or a trolling post on the forums, but someone posted that they did not like that because they said, as any good healer, I only heal and not DPS. So that point of the fight was horrible.
This looks like
how
bait
badly
to me.
did they get? How badly did they get torn apart?
I don't know, but that had to be a trolling post, I think.
It's funny as hell, though.
I see bait.
Like, you
The
really
thing is,
hate that fight because you had to do a little bit of DPS.
I had to DPS. That is not a heal. That is not the healer's job.
But the fucking first line is, as any good healer, I only heal. Like,
Yeah, that's the bit that's like
bait.
Yeah.
Guys, so the funny thing is, if I'm right, in the Savage version, it's better to... You've got to keep healing yourself and soothing yourself during that part. It will slowly kill itself.
Really?
Yeah. For the healers, slowly kill itself. The tank, you've got to kill it, but it does load of high damage attacks on you. And because there's 3 different ghosts instead of just one.
So do you need to get caught by the right ghost then?
Correct. Healers have to get by the bluey one, if I'm right. The tanks go yellow, and the DPS go for the red ghosts.
That's interesting.
I like that. I like that
that's
a lot.
actually an interesting mechanic.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I
That's
never
on
even
the-
noticed any different colors.
No, this is Savage, babe.
Oh,
Savage.
You also
And
don't-
in that case, it feels a little
I love
more
Jesse.
okay because the normal is just introducing you to the idea that, hey, if a ghost catches you, you're going to go to this place.
Yes,
That's
only a certain
only that's only on the bit after the chimney. The normal ghosts are the same.
Right.
Yep.
That makes sense.
The one where you have to go in.
This
All
actually
the other
is-
ghosts are the
I've
same.
actually enjoyed more than the previous Omega fights. Like, I actually wouldn't mind doing these in Savage because they're kind of fun.
But
Yeah.
I'll tell you now that there's not many differences in mechanics between the Savage and the healer one. And I can't remember the normal one if you get the line with the tank, but that's the main issue really in Savage is the fact that you've got that line that connects to the tank, and he constantly takes more damage the further away he is from Phantom Train.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to do, I think, 1 or 2 tank swaps if you get the marker on the tank so that the tank can run away and place it without killing himself getting there.
That makes
Unless
sense.
you can hollow ground it, of course.
As a tank, I love tank swaps.
It makes them do more than 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. And I mean, like, in general, I just like a lot of the stuff where it's like, hey, we're going to introduce you to this mechanic, and then we're going to put an interesting spin on it. I feel like that's interesting. It's like, okay, you're going to learn how to do this. Now you're going to mess with it.
I can't tell you all the
helps
mechanics
go.
for a tank because I've only DPS'd it, so I've not really looked into the tank inside. So
Yeah, there's Phantom Train. Oh, the stuff with like the fact that it had the various moves, like it's got the little locomotive light beam, it's got the acid rain, it's like all the classic attacks there.
Yeah.
Like they're totally mining the nostalgia, and it's good.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
kind of
this-
what this whole thing was.
This is the point I wanted to make when I was talking about I like 3 of the fights and not one of them, is that this fight I definitely loved, and I didn't need to know anything about Phantom Train from a previous Final Fantasy 14.
You need
Like,
to know one thing.
I didn't need to know anything.
Tell him what
Yes.
you need to know.
You
I don't
need
need-
to know that you could suplex it in the original, and we didn't get to suplex it.
Yeah,
That's why you were
all
sad.
got
Like a
disappointed.
fucking train.
I didn't get disappointed.
But as a monk, you should have been.
You could have suplexed the
I was
train.
paladin and
You could have changed to monk and suplexed the train.
Yes.
I in fact got into my panties because I thought
What?
that would look cooler. You know the
what did you do with your panties?
He got into them.
the Star Spangled.
Oh, the Star Spangled Subligar?
Yeah, I glamoured that as my only outfit, and everything else is whatchamacallit, a new emperor robes in case I could suplex it while in wearing the supplica. I thought that would look cool.
I don't know what to do with that information. Chili.
All right.
You're adorable, Chili. If I would pat you on the head if I were with you. Right now.
Yeah, because I
Yay.
saw everyone talking about suplexing, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
All right.
But
So, despite
I love
the
the fight.
unusual nature of our opponent, we fend off ghosts, spotlights, and acid rain, and eventually derail its murderous intentions. As we
Basically,
depart, we catch a glimpse of a pair of ghosts who thank us for Doma. Confused
Yeah.
about the nature of the world created in the Sigmascape, we return to the base camp.
That was an interesting moment because, like, okay, yeah, it's being taken from that, and in the original one, the Phantom Train was taking the people who had died at Doma, so it's like kind of the tie-in there. And I was like, is there a deeper meaning to that? Is it just highlighting the weirdness of this and of the interaction with the past games? Are they trying to break the fourth wall here? Like, I don't know if that was supposed to be a throwaway thing or if there's a deeper meaning to it, and it has me a little concerned.
I'm thinking it's more because it's a theme park style battle. It's a nod to the original.
I could believe that.
That's my normal
Not
thought, but I
original,
mean,
the tie-in.
yeah. All right. So, after we get back, they now have a focal point that they can use to get more information about our upcoming fights. So we're no longer having to go in blind. This time, Nero gives us a new toy that we can bring into our next fight.
I believe you mean his latest genius invention.
It's amazing.
It's
the
a
best.
it's a
I
fucking
totally had a
paintbrush.
different
It's a
thought.
Nero original.
Yeah, it's
Like when he called it the chocobo brush, though, I was like, we're like just like brushing our chocobo.
I still read it and I picture a brush for brushing your chocobo. It's because your chocobo is your horse.
Like I thought about that until we legitimately got into the encounter and I saw paintings.
what you didn't.
I'm not a bright man, okay?
But you know what? That fro, you could have unleashed your inner Bob Ross.
I know. I could have just dipped my fro in the paint. I didn't need a brush.
Oh man, it's like a sponge painting kind of thing.
We
Yeah.
we don't you know in Sigmascape 2.0 we don't wipe the raid. We have happy accidents.
Oh my god.
Nice.
I'll be honest, I kept saying that every time we failed
You just
Savage.
somehow make that like an episode like image of your character, like make him look like he's painting.
That's what I said the first time I had sex. Well, baby, that's just a happy accident.
For who?
Chili gets me.
Yeah, I just like oops, you fell and landed. She landed on your dick. Oops.
No, more like, oh, I'm done. That's a happy accident.
Not for her.
Oh.
Gotta
Anyway,
make her believe.
Oopsie.
Moving on.
so we leap into a gallery, which is dominated by a large painting of a goddess, from which emerges the demon Shatternook.
He's super naked.
No, she's got lots of ethereal.
Hey, she's
Concealing mist.
got
Yes.
some fog around her, but this whole imagination. Get rid of that fog really quick.
But I mean, can't you do that for anyone who's wearing clothes? Just like use some imagination and strip off the clothes?
I'm not a bright man. No, I cannot.
Oh.
At least he admits it.
I can do fog.
Because he thinks he can just
I
blow.
can't do armor.
He's good at blowing. Is that what you're saying?
I'm a big old dummy.
You just blow away the fog.
So I love Jesse.
He's also one track.
Well, Jesse
Much
is really
like the-
cute.
And he's
so-
not a smart man.
I mean, even the Phantom
He's
Train has
attractive,
2
man.
tracks.
Yeah. I am not a smart man. I
He's just
know
a
what
man.
love is.
And love is Jesse.
Are you like peas and carrots again?
Julian. What?
What is your life like a box of chocolates? Vegan chocolate. You know it's not going to be very good.
Wow.
I guess you hate dark chocolate.
Actually, I love dark
Dark
chocolate.
chocolate
so-
is the best.
Dark chocolate's usually vegan. What makes it not vegan is then you add milk to it.
Yeah.
Which
Anyway,
makes, we went camping once, and to buy the chocolate, we had to buy expensive chocolate bars for the s'mores, and I was like, "This is awesome."
We had to buy
Yeah.
expensive chocolate. We had to buy expensive marshmallows.
yeah, I
Vegan
suppose.
rice
The
chocolate
gourmet
here now.
chocolate bars on s'mores. We're so bougie. That's my new favorite word.
Bougie.
It's a good word.
Bougie.
Bougie, yes. All right.
So bougie.
So we use the new toy to help.
The new genius invention of Nero.
Yeah.
Chocobo brush, basically Spike
Copyright
from
patent.
Buffy. So winning.
Yep. So we were able to use this to defeat the Shatternook and.
Can I talk about the Savage a bit?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
This is the last Savage I've done, so I won't be able to talk about 07 or 08. So, instead of just having the same color, you actually have multiple different colors with the Savage mode.
I've heard that.
You have a pink, yellow, black, and blue. You have to start with blue because the first mechanic is always fire.
So-
In fact, what's up?
So wait, hold on. Like you have multiple buttons you can push for different paint colors, or
No, there's a little
That was my
splooge of-
That's
there's a
my
little
question.
puddle of paint on the floor, and you've got to run through the paint to pick it up.
Oh, and that picks up a paint color, and then you have to paint the
Oh,
right
that's
painting
pretty
with the right color.
Yep,
So we're painting with our feet.
yep. What? Yep. So,
Painting with my fro. We've already gone over it.
and basically all the mechanics, you just got to run to the one next to the color because the book is always next to the color, except for one mechanic where you have to all run to the 4 people have to run to the middle and color it at the right time, because he reduces everyone's MP and TP to 0. And if you color it, it'll restore everyone's mana and TP back right as he does it. Otherwise, it will just kill you.
Ooh.
Apart from that, the mechanics are exactly the same as normal mode, except for he'll do the 2 at a time instead of just 1 most of the time.
Oh, so he
Nice.
starts
So
doing 2 at a time? Does he ever do 3 at a time?
Dirty, dirty, dirty. Pete's
Yeah, he
rubbing
does
off on
3
you.
occasionally, but that's
Really?
right near the
You
end.
said I was
for it.
rubbing one off on you.
Like there's one where you have to there's fire, then there's the water. So what you got to do is you got to run to the fire, get your water resistance, and then get your airplanes, sort of thing. Sorry, fire and earthquake. So you got to stand in the corner next to the earthquake one, and that will save you. But yeah, there's but the thing is that it's
And
the
do it
most
with the right
scripted fight
colours.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, right colors. But the colors are right next to the paintings anyway, so.
Though it is still an extra step.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
but-
people with color blindness have a problem with this.
They're all really different colors, so
Well-
depends.
The fact that they're right next to it might be the saving grace for it.
Yeah, you don't have to run anywhere. You literally have to run behind the book where the painting is, and it's there. So you just got to know that's behind it. But the thing is, it's a very scripted fight, and I would say that 06S is actually easier than 05S. The only thing is, it's a DPS check.
So
That's it.
You've got to do
Apart
all
from that,
those
it's all the
things
same.
plus a lot of DPS.
But he doesn't move, really. He only moves to the paintings. So you can pretty much just stand still and DPS constantly.
Is it also going to be a healer check? Because
Oh, yeah, there's some healer
Regular one.
checks.
yeah, because the healer has to heal both tanks. Even the tank that's not main tanking is getting hit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wondered about that. Like you have the goddess, and I know in the original game you had the goddess statue, the goddess painting originally swap in for the demon, and so you had to
Yeah.
not attack, do the other things, and I wasn't quite sure. I saw her there, but I didn't see what she was actually doing.
Yeah, she constantly hits the
Puts her
off tank.
hand out. Yeah, and she hits the other tank. You see
Yeah.
her put her hand
But
out. and
she's
her hand lights
also
up.
she's also the one that restores your MP and TP when you color the paint in the middle.
Ah,
So-
interesting.
Yeah, because it
but
took
yeah.
me a minute when I was healing it to be this normal mode. Be like, why is this other tank getting hit so hard? And it was her.
Our strategy though is there's 2 stat mechanics. But if you have a paladin, he can actually hollow ground the stat mechanic both times. So you
Ah.
can completely cheese those. You just gotta have to make sure the healer's ready to heal him, because it'll do a tank buster right after the stat mechanic. So you just have to top him up after it happens. But you can do it to both stacks, so you don't even have to stack in them.
Nerf paladin. Is that how
And
this
just-
goes?
Just for like the normal mode, I will say like when I first did this, I found it very interesting,
Mhm.
and that's why I still put it above Sigmascape 3 on my rankings. But this was very boring in subsequent runs of this.
For a tank?
I would have I've run this one as monk as well, but it's boring because it's basically the same scripted thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Whenever
I see
you
that.
It's like,
in
hey,
the
there's
second half of the fight when you get the 2 tethers, it's always the fire/water one first, and then something else.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy and boring, to be honest.
It's like at first there's the novelty of, oh, hey, we're doing fun with painting.
Yeah.
And afterwards it's like, now that that's no longer especially shocking or whatever, this is not actually super interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm so slow that I never noticed until like the 5th run that we actually pulled out a paintbrush. Because I'm so small and everyone stands on me, I'm like, oh yeah, I've actually got a paintbrush, and then I just started running around painting the floor, noticing in it.
Well, and good fun.
Until like, they got angry because I ran in too far and that started to fight. Like, chill it up, like, damn it.
So after we beat Chatternook, Nero's gloating about the genius of his invention is cut short by the news that Biggs and Wedge. I love fucking Biggs and Wedge.
I don't want to know about what you do in your spare time.
I love fucking him. What can I say?
I thought you loved Jesse.
They've slipped from
Well,
their.
he watches.
He's
I've
got a big
lot
heart.
of love to give.
He's marrying
people.
Chili.
Plus, he'll dress up like Tataru, so Wedge can't complain.
They have slipped from their sick beds and are heading over to the Yawn, which is this fucking stupid name for that fucking area.
It's kind
Fair,
of boring.
Need to say in response to that.
All right.
I mean, it's like perfectly normal geographic feature naming. It is a big, yawning, open chasm. This seems like the type of name that it would be
I
given.
know,
by
but
the
Yawn
people.
makes me think like, oh, this is so boring.
But
Like,
with the
Maybe it was yawning. Like, that's the name we're giving
a
it.
wide opening.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Does it remind you too much of your big mouth?
Or Jesse.
You see.
Chili went there. Chili went there.
Yeah, she's got a yawn for this.
Then the sad thing about all this is we find out that Nero has been left alone and unprotected from Omega's evil minions. Once we return, we find that Nero seems to have been crippled by what he claims is just a cup of coffee that was accidentally made with salt water. And he's just like, you know what? It's cool, guys. I'm just going to sit out this next fight. You go on without me.
Side note, since we haven't talked about it too much, the stuff with Alpha pulling out the little cards was super adorable.
Yes, it was so cute.
Yeah, and then
By the way,
He's
I hate
like,
to say this. I hate to say this, but I noticed that Nero was ill right away because his forehead was actually slightly purple.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it was a little green.
His eyes too. They did. I actually like that they adjusted his coloring. I was wondering if they were going to.
Because I was running it with the free company. I'm like, did you notice his head's a bit different color?
Like, they've always had that type of thing.
Well-
What was it? During the original ARR's main scenario quest, when you have Marquez there, if you move the camera right, you can see that Garlean third eye under the robe. Like, it's a fair play mystery. If you are looking, you can find the clues.
Yeah. That's cool.
though, I mean, they do show him getting attacked by something.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just like, oh, it goes on as if nothing happened. And
So it makes me wonder, did he see that, or was he just not telling his friends?
Yes.
Or did he not know?
I don't think he did not tell his friends. I think he did not know. Like, it knocked him out. Like, he did not know. And then he just woke up being like, oh, nothing happened. Like, it was just like that.
Oh, he didn't see it coming?
That's what I'm.
That's what I think.
Do you guys think he saw it coming?
Well, I thought that, I guess in my
I don't think
I
he would tell
remember that he saw it coming, but maybe I misremembered.
Honestly, the first thing I thought was that he had been somehow replaced by like some kind of Omega controlled minion.
That was my thought too, actually.
Yeah, someone said that they bet he was Kefka. I'm like, nah.
Oh, that would have been cool, actually, if he had been. I thought he saw them and did the thing we talked about earlier that I hate the most, where he just didn't share information and didn't tell them.
See, but that's what I thought ended up happening, because he ended up, saying it at the end, which we'll get to in a second.
Right.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I was going to say, I think he did.
Of course they do. They always say it in the end.
Yeah, like he's full of pride. We're the warrior of light. We're a reasonable person. That's why we said something.
Yes, say something. Otherwise you die or other people die. It's bad for everyone involved.
He knew he could help with the next thing, and he knows how weak Sid is, that he just doesn't want it. I mean,
I do
He
just say I
doesn't
love
show
the
weak-
bromance there.
Sid.
I love the Sid, Nero.
Oh my God,
bromance.
they need to just
Yes.
bang already.
I know.
I
hard.
ship them so hard.
Even Pete loves them.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them so much.
Who's the pitcher and who's the catcher?
Doesn't matter. They can trade.
Sid is the
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is a great question, Klaus. Let's think about it.
Sid is the catcher. Nero is the pitcher. I mean, he has that big hammer.
Oh my God, no.
No. I think
Yeah,
Sid's the pitcher.
Like Nero's totally going on about the superiority thing, about how much better it is. He just wants to take it so hard.
Yeah,
Yes, he
I
does.
gotta agree with Sarah.
Well, and I feel like Sid's still kind of like denying that they actually have a relationship.
That
going
might
on.
be the best question of this episode, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Sid's on the,
I'll be honest, it is.
Garland's on the down
Yes, you'd be
low.
watching.
So is that the title, pitcher or catcher?
Yeah.
Yes, it should be.
Yes.
I was
Or
like,
just
I kind
Jesse.
of like Sid's on the DL.
Sid's on the yeah.
Wouldn't Nero be on the
Yeah.
DL?
No.
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 No,
Yes, it's not like admitting it yet.
exactly.
I
is
want to
why Nero's the
cosplay
catcher.
Sid. What does that say about me?
I'll dress
That
as
you
Nero.
want to
That's what
pound
it says.
Nero hard, but won't admit it.
I'll dress as Nero. It'll be good.
All right, shall we continue?
No, just
Continue
kidding.
talking about Sid and Nero banging? Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Well, we discovered the next fight's pretty straightforward. It's your least favorite fight, Pete.
Yes.
Actually, the one you said you don't actually like at all.
Yeah, I don't like this one.
Yeah.
And okay, for a person who hasn't played Final Fantasy VI, which is what all these bosses are based off of,
Mhm.
like this is the only one that I could see not liking because you didn't know anything about them previously.
Mhm.
Like because all of the mechanics are recycled from previous fights we've had in Final Fantasy XIV. So I'm like, oh, this motherfucker is just like recycling mechanics. But apparently in Final Fantasy VI, like that's the whole Guardian's thing. The boss called Guardian
Mhm.
is that he's able to recycle shit that he's seen before. And I guess it's because he does a move called Load Program, and that's when he does his move. But to me, it was just like he's recycling all this shit we've seen before. He looks like something from Alexander, which first is a big turnoff. But yeah, like this is the only one that I thought like you needed to know how that boss was from Final Fantasy VI to have an appreciation for it.
I kind of
And
disagree
I
with
did
you
not
there.
have an appreciation for it.
And the reason I disagree with you is it seems more like the fights is we've seen this type of fight when you look at Ultima Weapon, when you look at the hard mode of Fractal Continuum. We've had
you
bosses.
remember the hard mode, Fractal Continuum, it's literally just prototypes of Ultima Weapon.
Exactly, but I mean, you've got those types of bosses that are taking aspects of other enemies and using them against you.
Yeah.
See, for me, this fight actually fit in with the game so well that I forgot about it. It was forgettable in compared to the other three.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean,
I think that's like the heart of my point is there was nothing new.
yeah,
Like
I mean,
there was not one new mechanic. Like
But that was the point of it.
yeah,
the
that's what I'm
bomb
saying.
thing was new.
Bomb
The
thing.
time
Oh.
bombs.
Yes.
Yeah,
the line on
I
the ground.
guess.
Yeah.
Technically, but I agree with you. It was my least favorite fight, but I didn't hate it.
But we got such
nothing
amazing
more.
things such as tentacle stimulation, the Beauty and the
We
Beast
got the
ripoff,
jokes. We got the jokes. We did get the jokes.
Yes.
And we love
the Beauty and the Beast ripoff person again, and Top Gun. You can be my wingman anytime.
Goose.
Oh,
But yeah, tentacle stimulation is probably the best part of that fight.
yeah, we got jokes.
The simulation or stimulation?
Yes.
Both.
Stimulation.
Yes.
So, and like I was wondering, we've got Ultra showing up in there. Is that the same one? Is that a different one? Like, what is the nature of this freaking place? It's weird.
Thank you
What
for
is
bringing
all
that
this-
up. I was just thinking, I'm like, didn't we just have tentacles before? And then there was the weird, creepy, like zombie face.
Well, it seemed like he's just able to replicate anything.
I know, but the tentacles. I'm
But
all the time about.
we had the
Tentacles are from-
tentacles are from Ultros.
Yes.
But we had the
Incredibly slow missiles.
well, the tentacles are from Deltascape, aren't they? Oh, four.
Are they?
No, they actually started out in that Hildebrand
Drag-
trial. Dragon's
he
neck.
tried.
Well,
Dragon
I
Neck
remember
Coliseum.
Ultros, but I don't remember the tentacles sticking up. Do I remember
Yeah,
that?
he would pop down and then you'd have to sort of dodge it.
Yep.
And it would like sweep
Yeah.
across the thing.
Well,
Oh,
that's even worse. Now we're recycling them 2 times.
oh, God.
Well, hang on. I totally had something and I'm trying to remember it now. I've forgotten it.
All right. But
And it wasn't that important.
Was it about Jesse?
No.
tentacle stimulation.
wasn't
It's about
important.
Sid and Nero, obviously. They're way more interesting.
All right. Well, like I said, it was a fight. And
It was
Yeah.
a fight.
it was
And I mean,
basically
like,
a DPS
that
check is what
And
it,
they
It's not a
explicit
bad fight. It's not a great
like
fight.
Sid like explicitly said, yeah, this is going to be just an out and out slugfest.
Yeah, he had not acknowledged.
I
it.
will say the first time I did this, like I did everything the same day, day 1. This is the fight that we wiped 2 times on, and I actually had we wiped 2 times because the first group I had, we died once, and someone said, "Well, we're never gonna get this," and left.
Wow. Someone does not take adversity well.
Yeah, and then the next group we wiped once and then beat it.
yeah, we,
So
So I know none of us have actually done 07S. My understanding is that there's 2 screens. You get 2 different programs at once.
Oh.
No, you don't get 2 different programs at once. It does the first program always, on the big screen.
Okay.
And then it goes to the next program, which is the small screen. But it can have different types of mechanics where it can skip the current program, or like copy it, and then it can paste it later randomly, sort of thing. Well, not randomly, it's like an order. There's 3 different orders it will normally go through, so depending on what it does on the first one, you'll know what it'll do on its third one. It follows the same sort of script every time. You just
Okay.
kind of there's like 2 different paths for each script, but each script is the same. So it'll either do one or the other. If it does one,
So-
then you
So how much variability is there in it? Is it still just like okay, once you've learned the sequence, you know it, or is there
I
some?
think once you start knowing the sequence, you know it. But it's a lot harder DPS check this time. It's from what I hear, it's very tight. So unless you're pushing the damage, you're not going to really do it. But
Which
there's
again,
certain
out and out
mechanics.
slugfest.
There's certain mechanics that are slightly different, like the tentacle stimulation. The actual angle the tentacle lands is based on where your characters are facing, as well as where they are.
Oh my
So
god,
what
it's
the
going to
best-
be like Lost City of Omnipore Hard, where no one could ever face their clone outside.
So the best thing to do is face
We did that on
more.
purpose.
And also, from what I could tell, the Beauty and the Beast ripoff monster has
Dodaluma?
no Bibligo.
Oh, wait, what?
The one that's a bit like a wardrobe.
You mean the one that was the boss of Great Google Library?
Yeah,
Bibliotaph.
yeah, Bibliotap. Instead of having
Biblioteca.
three,
The library-based one.
and that's the mechanic that wipes people.
because
Yeah,
they
instead of
don't
having-
run around the edge.
Yeah.
instead of having 3 on each one, it's 4.
Ooh.
So you got to have 4 people at each one.
And really, that's not much
and
different because
also
we
some other
run as a
stuff.
group anyway. So
Then you're well
Imagine
prepared.
if you just get everyone to get on the first one to begin with, you could do it easily.
well, maybe there's less time now. Anyway, shall we continue on?
Yes, please.
Sure.
More about Jesse.
Huh.
All right. So who wants to talk about the last fight? All
I
like
have
to
it for
grind jokes until
I-
they're no longer funny.
right, Sarah, you're up.
much like you like to grind Jessie till she's no longer. Anyways.
Useful.
Existed? Oh, what?
So, anyways, after we come back from that, Sid and Nero give us the details about our final opponent, a guileful and deceitful court mage named Kefka, who destroyed the world with his power. Nero takes a supporting role during the fight, using his monitors to warn us of subtle changes in Kefka's stance that indicate trickery and unexpected changes in his magic. Now, this one I thought was really interesting. Like, I've never liked as much fights where it's like, oh, you have to memorize the dance. Like, the ones where you're paying attention to environmental cues are the ones that I tend to find more interesting.
Mm.
And this is definitely one of those.
Did someone say the magic word, Kafka?
I really enjoyed this fight. I
Ah,
I
Really
sometimes
heard that.
Oh, yeah. like not just the hey, you've got Kefka doing his trippy magic stuff going all over the place, having to always wonder like, is it about to go the other way? Should you stand in the big in the floor candy because it's not going to hit the floor candy?
Floor candy, I like that.
Yep, I always call it floor candy.
Oh, it's more fitting for Kefka though with the colors.
Yeah. But then also having the platform dramatically rising up the tower, which I mean in FF6 when you had the party fighting up, it's just like, okay, they're kind of standing in the void, but it's a convention of the genre. But here it's like, no, there's this platform actually moving up it.
Yeah, I love this fight. There's certain fights in this game every once in a while that come that just like make sense to me in a weird way, and I feel like this is one of those fights, which I don't know what that says about me, considering they're trying to make it confusing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, like, even the fact, like, the music phase changed as you moved up each thing, just like in the original FF6. Like, so many aspects of it matched. It was just, like, total nostalgia flood.
Oh, good.
No, this was a very well done tier. It really stuck with the source material, but still gave it its own flair. They made it look amazing. And like I said, overall, very pleased with the Sigmascape tier.
Yeah. And there was some, like...
that they stole the character design of Kefka
from Dissidia.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say stole.
No,
I mean,
it's the same company, you know.
They use that art asset.
Well, because I was like, wow, look. I commented on look at the effort they put into the character design of Kefka. This is some real design. And then I think it was you, Klaus, actually, who commented on that. And I was like,
I think it was me.
One of us. I think we were both there that day. But yeah, it is the character model from Dissidia NT.
But have you seen the image of Kefka where they removed his makeup because he looks just like David Bowie, which makes me so happy.
Oh wow! No, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, that is actually amazing.
It's amazing. He looks like David Bowie, and I'm like, I love you more.
Kefka's so hot.
Oh yeah, he beats Nero any day.
Bowie. Do you like my balls?
Bite your fucking tongue, bitch.
What?
Nero's hotter.
Oh my.
No, that third eye just doesn't do it for me.
No, you're wrong.
Moogle Quest is exactly what Pete wants to do.
Do you like my crystal balls?
And Nero, Moogle Quest, that's exactly what he hopes Nero does.
Moogle Quest? I don't like Moogle Quest. What are we talking about?
Pete's getting tired.
All right, so let's try and wrap up here a little bit.
Like
the only thing I know is for the Savage version of that is that in addition to all the other stuff, it adds another phase, which kind of goes in the tradition of what happened with 04S.
Yep.
I will say, like, when I first did this in normal mode, like, as a tank, I always position the boss so, like, everyone's looking, most of the time, looking north. And they could all see the moves that Kefka's doing, and I could not see them at all. And I had no idea what side of the room to be on, so I was really confused. I'm like, I have no idea where to go, and I kept on getting hit by shit. I'm like, this is really fucking annoying, but I eventually figured it out. But
that you needed to actually look at the statue?
Yeah, I needed to turn my camera to be able to see it, and I like that though.
Yeah.
Also, a little tip: when you are running it. If you're melee, get arm's length. And if you're a tank, get tempered will. And if you're a healer / caster, get sure cast. That way, when you've got the pushback mechanics, you can stand by and still DPS.
You know, with tempered will, I don't think you really need that as a tank. Like, you should know where to be for that.
No, I'm talking about arrow assault. That way, you can just stand on it.
Yeah, I'm saying arrow assault. Like, you should know. Like, nah,
just
you
be
don't
in the
need
right
it.
spot.
Blow it.
I'm just saying, if you pop it, then you're not going to be pushed back at all. So that way you can just keep.
Oh, I want to mention arrow assault just because, like, I know for the first part of the fight, he's doing when he does the teleport, he does the immediate blast, and everyone else in the group had gotten used to that, and it was just like going along with it. And so the first time he did he starts doing arrow assault instead, I think it caught like half my group off guard, and they all went
amazing.
down.
Dude.
Oh yeah, I died the first time. I was like, what happened?
It's like, yep, that tricksy little bastard still has it.
Like, half the time I see arrow assault, and I'm like, oh shit, gotta move.
Yep.
At least they give you time to move, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. He either blasts immediately or he does a charged up thing, so be in the back spot and then move if you need to.
Yes.
I like to blast immediately.
But yeah, it is something where you do have to be constantly paying attention to those cues, which, as I said, I think makes it a lot more interesting.
All right. So
Hey,
after...
I really think 4, 2, and 1 all were really good for people who had never played any Final Fantasy 4 or Final Fantasy games before. It was only the third one where I feel like you needed to know.
I still don't think you did. I still think it fits the game.
I don't like. To me, I was bored. I'm like, oh, I've seen this mechanic. I've seen this mechanic.
I think people who played the game thought it was boring
game.
too.
But it also just means that it's not as great of a fight as the other 3, which is okay. I mean, the fact that they got 75%, fuck yeah, go Square Enix. 75% of the 4 new fights are fucking awesome. The last 25% is decent. Like, that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually really interesting to hear the perspective from someone who doesn't necessarily have the same nostalgia driving it that I do.
Yeah, so I mean, it's cool to have different levels of Final Fantasy knowledge discussing this, so...
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing this stuff for so long that's I don't know what it would be like if I didn't know about it, so I actually really appreciate hearing that. I would love to hear your thoughts about the Deltascape at some point.
Seer says he's old.
Well, I will say, from the Deltascape to the Sigmascape, there hasn't been much change in the overall story of it. It's just Omega testing us, right? There hasn't been any change at all.
It's just
I meant
who we're
the
fighting.
actual fights.
Wait, there's a plot?
I know, but I just want to say in general, from the last tier to this tier, there isn't any different.
Right.
Wait, there's a plot. I just, in the cutscenes, I just go, oh, Alfie's here. Oh, look, there's Sid. And then I punch things.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Alphino and Sid were banging for a while, and then they, broke up.
I was thinking that.
Well, yeah, he went after that Stillion.
Yeah. Which I think it's better for him.
I do
the Sid thing was a thing of... It's they're horny, they're gonna do this, but now they're in better relationships.
I mean, they got to do something while we're in there fighting, right?
I mean, it was just they just wanted a fling, so yeah, they could feel some love.
I mean, they're even just having little spatterings of fights, oh my gosh, the tea is so bad, or the coffee, or whatever it was. You didn't refill the water. It's adorable.
I did think it was funny that Sid did actually admit that he thought it filled itself.
There's a video I've seen online that the guy thinks the coffee table is magical because it cleans itself. And the woman's like, fuck you. She's like, no, there's this basket. You put dirty clothes in it and you wake up and they're just magically clean and folded. Yeah.
What wizardry is this?
All right.
Magical.
Moving on, guys.
The clothes used return.
All right, moving on. So we basically we kicked out Kefka
I like my phrasing here. After a pitched and confused battle before an ancient statue of unrivaled power, the Mad Mage falls, signaling our final victory in the Sigmascape.
Da 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 da.
Now go get outrolled for the minion.
I got the minion on the first try.
Thanks.
Same, actually.
I rolled a 99.
I still don't have mine.
Oh.
But I've gotten the shaft.
Oh my.
3 times, on my first go each week.
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyways.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I blame
not.
Square Enix for that moment. No, that was not intentional at all.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Don't lie to me.
Jesse rolls on the shaft every week.
I feel the need to...
Uh-oh.
We've been at this for 2.5 hours.
Yes, exactly. Let's continue on. So, Sarah, you want to kind of close out the story?
So, outside the Sigmascape, Nero admits to Sid that he had been earlier attacked by one of Omega's minions, but had concealed his injuries. And as you guys point out, he did have that bruising there, but he takes the glasses off, and we do see the full extent of his injuries. Now, while that's going on, with our last victory, the Sigmascape begins to collapse, and as we trail behind the others, Omega appears to express his displeasure with the result.
He's a sore loser.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just that he lost, it's that we're not doing that huge, heroic, whatever it is that he's trying to study. He wants to see this heroic surge that breaks all known boundaries and defies this logic, and we're not doing it. And so, he decides he is going to subject us to extreme stress, seals us up in an energy prison, and gives us a count of just a few seconds before he is going to terminate our life, hoping / expecting that.
That what?
Oh no, it worked! It killed him!
That we lost a
efforts
Sarah.
to assist us.
We lost you for a second, Sarah. You
are
have to go back.
unable to escape.
Sarah.
We lost you. Megan tried to kill you for a second.
Oh,
There we go.
there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. But so, despite Alpha's best efforts, we are unable to escape until Midgard Sormer appears, summoning the last of his power to assume his original form and destroy the energy prison.
Pretty badass.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like he says, like he even knows that he's breaking the rules a little bit by taking that form within Omega's domain, but he don't give a fuck.
I love it.
He's
Yeah.
Midgard Sormer.
I'm gonna vomit on you. It's cool.
Yeah. And once we are safe, Midgard Sormer fades away, saying that he's going to be going into a long slumber, but satisfied that his assistance will no longer be required. He does make a comment that essentially the minion and the mount are going to be retain the form, but they will not have his mind behind them. Which, I mean, like, okay, you need to have a lore reason for why you can still call this minion after he's going into a slumber. So, good job there, lore team. And after all that, Sid returns, wanting to let us know about Nero's injuries, stops short when he sees that we're also in pretty poor shape. And so we head back to the Reach, where we learn that Nero's injuries are going to be taking him out of our next delve into the Yawn. And so even though exhaustion and injury is taking its toll on the team, I mean, at this point, we're down to ourselves, Sid, and Alpha.
And Jesse.
Biggs and Wedge and Jesse.
No, Biggs and Wedge are incapacitated.
Yeah.
They'll come back. Just like Nero will come back. Let's not joke ourselves.
And Jesse does not go into the field for this.
No, Jessie will only go into the field if she can make some monies.
Yeah. She needs to stay back and tend to her injuries from Vegan Pete's ministration.
She's a smart bitch, that's why.
That
She
too.
makes pretty outfits and opens the
But
door.
even with all that, we have no choice but to further temper our mind and body in preparation for whatever the ancient weapon is going to throw at us next.
By going and gearing up some more.
Yes.
And then we listen to some pretty music by a weird bard, and our brain starts being like, what if it was even worse?
Oh no, he says a poem this time.
Oh, yeah, he's into poetry this year. Or not this year, this patch.
It's true.
Do we want to hit on the point that Soken said that his favorite band was Rage Against the Machine?
We hit on that point on our podcast
I want to
already.
hit on that.
Okay.
You want to hit on Rage Against the Machine?
Because I love Rage Against the Machine.
I was about to ask, is that a code word for Jesse? Because if so, we understand.
Pete may have imbibed in a bit of sake.
I'll fuck either one.
Like three-quarters of the way through the podcast,
So
kind of when Jesse started.
So Pete's drunk, is what you're saying.
We had an amazing capacity of sake.
And he took a lot of it in his body.
Took
just now.
down that minion.
So we might need to finish
primal.
this sooner than later.
Ladies and gentlemen, Drunk Pete.
Yes, you have achieved Drunk Pete.
Oh, you guys want to have a good podcast?
Oh, God.
We gotta have a Drunk Pete. Well, fortunately, this week we're gonna forego the lore segment. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we are over 2.5 hours at this point. We've been here a while.
Yeah.
Lore.
Nope, sorry, babe.
So here's the lore of Jesse.
So hard for me to
Jesse
sit here.
works for the Ironworks. She's the one who makes its money. She's probably fuckable.
Oh, look at Chili hugging me. I need to hug that bitch back.
All right, so let's go into some email and comments.
Yes, let's do that.
We got a new review from Ocops on iTunes.
Oh, Ocops. I think that motherfucker is on our subscriber thing.
Yeah, Ocops is amazing.
Cops is awesome.
Yes.
He is.
I was like, oh my god, was I wrong? But he is.
Anyways, Ocops said some things.
Yes.
Now let him read his emails.
An excellent, balanced podcast that covers a wide range of topics pertaining not only to FFXIV and its community. The hosts are highly entertaining and represent different play styles and interests. Thank you very much for that, Ocops. We really appreciate it.
That's a great review of your podcast, actually.
Yeah. And we got some tweets as well from our kid Sound. Asks at Phoenix Down Radio, can you touch on this for a second? He sends a picture of the Byakuya chair.
It's just like a giant, like,
It
tiger
looks
dick.
ridiculous.
And it's kind of scary looking.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's scary.
It's in the notes, Chili.
Like,
Well, it's in the house.
Like, I've got a friend who's been doing a bunch of furnishing stuff, what with the housing things being available, and he points out how weird it is for all this primal stuff. It's like, here's a weird thing that you can only have one of, and it seems mostly intended to be some kind of trophy room type thing.
Yep.
Like
we treat it as a trophy room.
Yeah, like the Leviathan fountains. It actually would have been really nice to have a matched pair of them, but it's like just one of them. It looks weird.
Yeah, but this chair, it scares me.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
The whole
I
thing,
want to
the whole
see
fight
it.
is bad.
Next segment.
Chili, you were going to say.
Oh, I love Jesse.
Chili, you were going to say.
What I was saying is I want to see this chair.
It's in the show notes.
Oh, it's in the show notes. I thought you said it's in the house.
No, it's in the show notes.
No, did you run? Oh, goofball.
All right. At Kelleris.
It's amazing.
That's why you're not allowed to decorate the house, Chili.
Because, you could have someone sit in the chair and then you could have a little lalafell sat like the
I love how
top of his
you're
head.
kind of standing on me, Chili.
At Kelleris
So, anyways,
tweeted
next-
at us.
Yeah, baby, you have the drunk slur, honey. I think it's time to just shush a little
You
bit.
guys should definitely go and check out the interview that Phoenix Down Radio did with Eorzine Idols. A really good read. You might see someone you recognize on it too. Come join the wonderful community of Eorzine Glamour Idols and don't forget to say hi in the Discord. This is in
I want to say hi to Lunavox. I love you, and I'm sorry you couldn't make it for this episode.
This is in reference to the article that we posted of the written interview. So we took some wonderful screenshots from their Twitter feed and put it in with Luna's awesome interview. So it was a really good article. If you haven't checked it out, go to the website phoenixdownradio.com and you'll see it on the front page.
I'm gonna do that right now.
And also from
Don't do it, people will die.
at AV, Ashen AV. Yay for the Eggy Glamour feature. Thank you for doing this, and congrats to Sophia Mooncat for a great interview. Cheers. Thank you so much for those tweets, guys. We really do appreciate it. And we had a great time reading through the interview. It was a really cool way to look into another group's take on lore and screenshots and glamour. Not lore. You know what I meant. I'm tired too. It's been a long show.
This is why our episodes only go 1 hour, and I get grumpy if they go longer.
You guys are tired. Okay, good for you.
I'm not tired.
You're
Yeah,
drunk.
we know. Yeah.
I can talk about Jesse all night, bitches.
Instead of talking about Jesse, Pete, how about you give us some shout outs?
Oh God.
Oh, with my shout out, I would like to shout out Chili, who always
Yay.
shows up to our show every night. He likes to keep us in bed. We keep Chili warm while he goes to bed.
It's true.
He's getting cold in those cold European. I don't even know what you are over there. UK.
I hope you're sound
winters
clipping this,
over
Chili.
there. Thank you so much.
So much.
And thank you to Phoenix Down Radio. Like, it's so amazing. I always love cooperation between podcasts.
Cooperation, not collaboration.
They're the same thing.
It's a little bit of both. But yeah, Klaus and I'm so sad that Luna couldn't join us tonight because she's a big part of most of Phoenix Down Radio's
She
things.
is.
And I wanted to I don't think I've ever been on with
The last time we were
Lunavox,
guests, she wasn't
so,
here either.
Yeah.
I think she doesn't like me. You can tell her that.
That's definitely not it.
That's not an unusual thing to not like Avi. But yeah, in all reality, like, it's just such a fun time. And anyone that might have been watching this episode because of our podcast, I hope you subscribe to Phoenix Down Radio as well. And even if you think Phoenix Down Radio is better than us, I hope you subscribe to them instead of us, because you should be subscribing to whatever.
There really is no. It's not like a one or the other, you guys. You can listen to us both.
Whatever gives you the most joy, subscribe to them.
Exactly.
And yeah, I just hope you had a fun time with us on the show.
Oh, we loved having you on, even drunk.
I always
Pete.
enjoy it.
It's drunk Pete on podcast is actually rare. We haven't had drunk Pete in a while.
I get drunk on what's the other show?
Moogle Go Round.
Moogle Go Round.
I think, but all of us
Hey.
get drunk on Moogle Go Round, except for Chili.
I vomited.
It's the only way you can do Moogle Go Round.
Moogle Go
It's the only way I can listen to it. Just kidding.
That was a fun night.
It sure
No, it's been a
I
pleasure.
just like not having to lead an episode.
Yes.
Avi, how about you?
Oh, I don't know what I can say that Pete hasn't already said.
Talk about your glamours. Talk about Izana.
Oh my God.
She loves that glamour.
This doesn't make sense for shout outs, but thank you, baby. I appreciate you.
No, that's a great shout out.
Thank you guys, all of you. Klaus, I love how great you are at keeping the episode going and on task, and the effort you have put into streaming every day. You are very inspirational.
Oh, thank you.
Chili, you're adorable and the sweetheart of Final Fantasy XIV, and I am so glad that I've gotten to know you as well as I have. Sayer, I would love to get to know you more. I love hearing about all of your information for the lore and everything. You definitely bring a very unique librarian-esque element to the podcast, and it's glorious. So I'm just giving a shout out to the three of you guys. You're glorious and wonderful and amazing, and I hope to meet all three of you again for some of you at FanFest this year.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
And where can everybody find you guys?
We are She Heals I Tank podcast. You can download us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, any podcatcher of your choice. We are trying to be better about streaming on Twitch, which is again She Heals I Tank. Same for Twitter, same for YouTube, same for Facebook. Pete's not usually this intoxicated, but he is usually this lewd.
No, I am usually this intoxicated.
Okay.
This is not normally broadcast.
Oh. Okay.
Well, we are getting him on a not normal podcast night, so.
Well, he was good so far, but he's used to hour-long podcasts. Once we passed that first hour and a half, he went to the refrigerator and pulled out the sake, and I was like, oh,
there were
no.
3 points where I'm getting more drinks.
Yeah, you hit his threshold, and the alcohol came out.
All I know is the sun's about to rise.
Oh, Chili.
Oh dear.
See, and I was hoping to get my Biako X runs in after this, but I don't think
Chili,
he's going
I
to be a
just
usable tank.
posted a picture of me and you making out.
Oh my.
And that's
Wow.
my husband. All right, back to you, Klaus.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys coming on. It's something we've been talking about for quite a while. I'm glad we were able to finally make it happen.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
We'll have to do it again sometime soon.
Definitely. We will have you guys on our show when I let Pete do all the organizing, because like he just said, it's so much fun to not have to host it.
Right? It is. It's nice to be the guest sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm the guest all the time. I keep it that way intentionally.
I call her a bitch.
All right.
That.
Chili?
I would like to shout out to who's that folk that I've been watching recently. Oh, She Heals I Tank.
Is that English?
Seriously, I always enjoy staying up on a Tuesday night to watch you guys in my
I
bed.
love being in bed with you.
Yay! Seriously, it's one of the best podcasts I listen. I sometimes try and catch Smash Radio when I can, but for She Heals I Tank, I make sure I'm always there because it's always entertaining with the chat, with your conversations with everything, and the Greenleaf Minute. Yay.
And
I
just comment that the comments of keeping Chili warm in bed come from a comment he made about his laptop on his lap, keeping him warm. So it's a literal actual reference.
Yes, it's hilarious. And where can you be found, Chili?
You can find me at Twitter on Chili UK or at ben.shillabehall@psu.com if you want to contact my work email.
Yep, because go ahead.
Can I shout about how happy I am about my recent total of downloads for my podcast?
Absolutely.
We've reached 2.2 million downloads in 24 months.
Wow.
So
For PSU? For PlayStation
PSU.
Unchained?
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. That's a hell of a feat.
So, yeah. That's not one puck. That's over the 24 months.
Yes, that's...
So, yeah.
Well, still, it's amazing.
But yeah, and you guys do it on a weekly basis. Plus, you've had a few other ones as well, right?
Yeah, we do have 2 a week now, so that bumps it up a little bit, but still.
Even before that, you sometimes would have an extra one every month or so.
Yeah, we like to do it like an extra special based on sort of...
Or Chili's Clueless Wrestling Predictions.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, see, I listen to them as well, so...
You're crazy.
I am crazy.
Thank you, though.
Sarah?
Shout outs to Caffeine, which got me through writing up all that stuff.
You mean fixing my crap?
I wouldn't say that.
I knew you were going to say I wouldn't say that.
He would say
Also,
doubling
shout out to
your
Jesse.
crap.
Okay, Pete.
Shout out to my friend's dog, who I am dog sitting this week, which is going to get me enough extra pocket change to get a Nintendo Switch, and who is actually a fairly chill dog. Oh my gosh, guys, having a pet is so weird. I have to be responsible now.
Think about someone other than yourself. I know it's tough.
What's
It's like having a Pete around.
Oh my.
You guys don't know. He's walking out of the room. Pete just... If you hear him laughing when you later listen to this while Chili was giving his shout outs, because he had sake in his glass and he forgot it was sake and he drank it like it was water.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and he was just like, I thought that was water. That wasn't water. So I'm sorry.
Anyway, you were saying, Sarah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't really have much else at this moment. You can follow me on Twitter at FFXIV Sayre, SEYRR.
And you can now do that, and it's public.
Oh, right. Right, because I was like, there's nothing terribly incriminating on here. So, yeah, I went ahead and opened it up.
Yet. Anyway, thank you as always, Sarah. And I want to shout out Pete and Avi. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I really had a blast. It was a wonderful time working with you. I hope we didn't keep you guys too terribly long. I know it's a very long...
It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Peach just has a very short attention span.
Well, we now know that. Want to throw a shout out to Luna, who couldn't unfortunately be with us tonight. I know I saw her in the chat earlier, and I hope you are feeling better, and we look forward to having you on the next show. Shout out to Sarah and Chili, as always, for being amazing co-hosts and helping to keep this shit going all the time. So thank you so much, guys.
You guys rock.
You're welcome.
And I can be found at PHXDN_Klaus. That's Klaus with 2 S's. So if you want to get a hold of us, our website is www.phoenixdownradio.com. You can email us podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at PHXDNRadio. Our name's unfortunately a little too long for the Twitter, so we had to shorten it a little differently. And you can also find us right here at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio. So that'll do it for this episode, guys. If you like what you heard, please make sure to like, subscribe, or follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, YouTube, or whatever your preferred podcatcher service is. And we ask you to please leave us a rating or review. Pete and Avi will definitely agree with this. It helps people to find our podcast. And
much.
It helps
There's
us
like
to...
algorithm stuff going on.
Exactly. And... we're not asking just so we can see those numbers grow. We like that. But like I said, the algorithms help us to be seen by more people at that point. So it really does help more people find our show by you leaving that wonderful 5-star rating and a glorious review saying how awesome we are. So, or even if you don't like us, just, let us know. It does all help.
Go on and complain about Pete for this episode. It's all good.
Yes, that too. If you really dig the show, you can consider subscribing here at Twitch, or by becoming a Patreon patron like the amazing Aurori Fenrir. She subscribes on our Patreon at the $20 level, so she gets a shout out on every show, which I forgot in the last show, and I apologize for, so I'm going to make it better. You can find our Patreon page out at patreon.com/PhoenixDownRadio. All proceeds we get from either Twitch subs or Patreon subscribers goes towards growing the show, covering things like hosting costs, and allows us to do some of the fun things like giveaways and some other supporter-only incentives. But any kind of support, whether it's emails, likes, tweets, or retweets, it's always greatly appreciated. We really love interacting with you guys and hanging out with you during the show. So thank you so much to our guest hosts, Pete and Avi. Thank you again. We really did appreciate having you on. And
we really appreciate you having us on.
All right. And so for our guests, Pete and Avi, and for my co-hosts, Chili and Sarah, I'm Klaus Neipringer, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Praise Lord, the Scorpion.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.